Well, I'm gonna start recording, and we can kind of just riff. I think a lot of people just appreciate listening to this kind of thing. We can make new tiers as needed, but this is the. I mean, you guys can see my screen, right? This is the official list.
Yeah. Hey, who is this tier list for? Is the
Yeah,
question.
that's a really good question. I think it's for the average tourney player. Like, you know who I'm thinking of? I'm thinking of like Zolo Jetto, or like Toasty. Like where
Marco Emar, like the
in
very
the
solid.
right circumstance they could win
Mhm.
Okay.
A game.
a game or like 2 games or something. But like, is it for tournament champion Knights Dawn? Probably not. You know.
All right, I can go with
Also,
that.
for common viewers, I'm with Kuba, Luca, and Knights. Um. Okay, so I guess we can start just like in order. Unless you think we should like set the bounds first. Would that be helpful?
I feel like it's helpful to like discuss at least some criteria because
Okay. Yeah, let's start there.
it's like it's like it's easy to just
So okay,
like
I've done
paint
a bunch
narrative.
I've done a bunch of tier lists. What
Yeah,
makes this one unique in your opinion?
because in a tournament, like a lot of the game is just like evaluating the game state, who's strong, who's weak, and part of that is from your civ. So if you're like going to be playing like a strong civ, then people are gonna want to like think you're stronger and think they have to do something about you, right?
All about positioning. If you position yourself to be too strong, then you're going to get teamed, and it's not good for your tournament position.
But that being said, if you're too weak, then they're just gonna eat you.
Yes,
It
exactly.
also,
But there's also the argument that like the fact that it makes you strong is what makes that civ good in the first place, right? So I
yeah,
don't
I
know
mean,
how much
there's
you want to take into
also
that into
I
account.
think to sum that up, the the list will skew towards late game civs more so than early game civs. This isn't like a random NQ lobby FFA where you're going to get a CC after killing 2 people by turn 100. You're going to get triple teamed in that case and lose, right? And I think that's an important point where I think when, I mean, it's no secret, but me, Jeb, and Pip made this list, and it was kind of just a vibes based list. Like, I wanted to throw in some, stereotypically overpowered civs, not because I was afraid that they'd like shit on everything else, but because it would create interesting game dynamics. Like, that's why you see something like Russia in here or Belgium in here, who would be overpowered in a normal civ draft, but especially like in a generally weaker one, they're even stronger. So it's kind of like picking Zulu in a tournament game and going impies, right? You're gonna kill someone. Like, I don't give a fuck. I mean, maybe if you're attacking Arvius or something, but unless you're like truly outmatched in war, you are going to kill them. But that's not how you win these games. So understanding like, okay, this game state, or like, if frankly that Zulu player would probably be better off sandbagging the attack, making it less convincing, and then simming off in a corner and then scaling with Zulu, right? So, I think we're gonna be looking at this through a lens of like, okay, if they're strong enough to survive the early game, yet they get a lot of late game bonuses, that's a really, really good tourney specific civ. Um, Kuba, you were going to say something and I cut you off.
yeah. It's also like about the type of yields that these civs give, because like hammer civs or like happy civs are gonna be better because they're more resilient to being teamed than, let's say, food civs, right?
Sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. Luca, do you want to add in anything on that, or?
No, I totally like you can't be putting yourself out there too much, and you need to be able to be resilient is the key for tournament civs. Like strong defensive bonuses like Ethiopia really shine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I think yeah, this all makes sense, especially like if you're going to be in a strong position, although I think if you are in a weaker position, it's a bit dicey because like that's when those like you'd like to have those food and science bonuses, but at the same time, it's a double-edged sword because you can always just die if you're in a weaker position with those.
Yeah, I mean, and that's not to say that like killing someone in the early game isn't good, right? There's games where you catch CCs in these qualifiers. Like, it happens.
Yeah,
If you're like a strong player on a strong Civ, just shitting on the rest of the lobby that might be a little weaker, like, it happens. Like, I watched Miyoto win the game at fucking Cannons before, right? So it happens. But in general, especially if you're in the middle of the map and you're trying to take advantage of like an early power spike Civ, like Macedonia, and they're not included here, but just for sake of example, you're kind of rolling the dice to see if you'd actually win that game or not by going for an early kill, rather than like putting. Okay, anyway, so I think that set the bounds. I think it would be helpful maybe if we start with like a clear S Civ and a clear D Civ. So does anyone want to go first? And then once we set these two bounds, then we can kind of like adjust accordingly. I also want to be clear, this is on the latest patch, so 33.6, where Coast just got a giga buff, and
Islands are much more consistent.
islands are more
Fish
consistent.
are
Coastline
massively more
yeah,
plentiful.
there's so many more fish. And
The coastline is not as hilly as it was, which is kind of good actually because it helps your settler movement, but it's not too unhilly that you actually lost the production.
and auto got nerfed. It's not huge nerf, but it's a pretty big nerf. Where Total War got nerfed from 25% production to 15. So, okay, let's start with a clear S tier Civ. I can start.
Belgium?
I was also probably going to say Belgium.
I was gonna say Wales.
Actually, you know, when I was going through this at first and I was reading everything, I'm like, Wales is definitely the Civ that I'm describing right now. But but I think Belgium's like a more obvious one. But if you want to do Wales, we could do Wales.
Wales too for sure.
Yeah,
I would agree with
well,
Wales.
Well, I was gonna argue for Belgium to not be an S. So I
Okay,
wanna do
then
Wales.
perfect. Let's do Wales.
Here we
Then let's
go.
do Wales. Okay, good. So Wales, what makes it unique is that it gets a combat bonus modifier for all units on hills, which is huge, cannot be overstated, and the care is easily one of the best improvements in the whole game, especially for trad starts. And especially this terrain isn't like exuberantly hilly for the most part. And there's often like long stretches of just nothing. So having consistently good hill tiles is always really good. The crossbow's fine. It helps you survive the mid game, which is kind of one of the reasons we like it. And then having the care scaling is just really strong.
And the early game sheep bonus is really nice
I
for your
totally forgot about the sheep bonus.
first 40 turns.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, and then let's start with the D tier Civ.
Greece. I don't know.
Yeah, Greece is pretty standout as pretty bad. Yeah,
don't pick the garbage.
yeah, we could do Greece. Greece, I think
Maybe UAE.
UAE will find its way there. I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I think this is helpful. Greece is interesting because the hoplite is actually very good. But I think with the ruin changes that happened on version 33, where there's just less consistent spear upgrade runes, this is actually a pretty big nerf to Greece. There's a bunch of different runes that you can get now, all of which are really strong. But if your whole Civ is dependent on early tempo from a hoplite, getting early tributes and stuff like that, then not being able to get, at least somewhat consistent spear upgrades is pretty bad. The Odeon's okay. Nothing spectacular. I mean, that's all I can really say about this. I don't know.
I mean, the Civ just sucks.
Its bonuses are just too weak.
Yeah.
Compared to every other Civ.
Yep. Okay. So now that we set the bounds, let's go for it. So Axum, the cool thing about Axum, I'll just kind of do a simplified version, but the cool thing about Axum is that they can instantly spread their religion to every city upon founding. So it's incredibly helpful, especially for like a wide piety build or a liberty build, to instantly spread your rel. Where would you guys put Axum?
They also have the building that gives you a watermill worth of yields in every city. A unique national epic, whatever.
I
I've been
would probably
hearing
say low A. This Civ tends toward wide play, which is quite resilient in tournament. You don't really want to be going into that 7-8 city player for anything that's not arty in the early game. And that religion bonus is a solid Civ bonus for you. So I rate them pretty highly.
I've been hearing a lot of mixed opinions on how to play the Civ, like whether they're a Liberty or Piety Civ nowadays, and I don't think anyone truly knows the best way to play them. I tend towards Piety, but I think they're still flexible, and like even if you go Piety, you're still going to be strong early game with the really fast indulgences. So yeah, I think somewhere A or B makes sense for them.
I
Yeah,
feel like
low
Kubo's
A,
gonna
high B
rip
was my
into
thought.
the Civ. I don't know why, but I just have that feeling.
It's a very like a middle of a pack Civ for me.
Yeah.
Maybe on the higher end because the Civ is quite powerful. I don't really know if tournament like really changes what I think about the Civ that much. Flexible
I
and
actually agree
powerful.
completely with that. Yeah, I don't think it changes my opinion of the Civ at all.
I think looking at the rest of the Civs, I'd probably pick Axum in a few of my drafts. I think they're probably on average better than the rest of them.
Yeah. All right, so let's just put them B. Everyone says they're about average.
Mhm.
Argentina. I think the Civ's
Very, very strong
insane.
Civ. Yeah.
I think
Oh,
that
this
This
is the
Civ would
exa-
suffer the problem of accelerating you too quickly and
Yeah.
pulling you ahead of the pack that you might get teamed.
Yeah, this is the example of a Civ that definitely hurts from being in the tournament meta.
yeah.
I think you guys are overrating them, but I'd still put them in S tier.
I mean, I don't think they're an S tier Civ because they're likely
really?
to get you teamed. Like genuinely.
I mean, you can use that argument for any good Civ, though, right? It's like,
Well, no, like I'm gonna use that argument 100% for when we get to Russia. But other than Russia, like not really.
I guess you could say that like Argentina's bonuses, like they come online early, but they don't really scale. I guess the demos from the stables kind of do, but
I mean, they
you
scale,
get 'em,
but
like-
it's not like whales scaling.
yeah, like your position, it doesn't like hide how strong you are. Like
Exactly.
something like whales
Yeah.
might.
It's not as it's very. I think the problem with demos is in general in tournament is it's very public, right?
Mhm.
Like if you compare the bonuses you get as, I don't know, like Zimbabwe or something, where it's like, okay, well, I'm having a good game, but people aren't accounting for the fact that whenever I build a unit, I get like 25% production bonus in my capital or something like that. Like that's actually a pretty big bonus. Like you can consistently always be one turning landships even on Liberty as Zimbabwe because of that.
Yes.
But that's kind of like a hidden thing. Argentina's the complete opposite. It's like, okay, I get really early demos because my workers are better. I get really good stables, which I pretty much am rushing every game. Once I get stable tech, my Civ is done. I don't have anything. I mean, Gauchos are a great defensive unit, but other than that, I'm kind of just, yeah.
And the fact that you keep the Gaucho promo and upgrades pretty sweet too.
That's
for,
true. That's definitely true.
for cav pushes.
Kuba, where'd you put him?
Probably an A. Like the Civ is still very, very strong, and you can like manipulate your position on the map with the early tempo and with getting a kill. But it's not exact. Like you don't get the exact bonuses that you would like for a Civ that gets a kill, right? Like it's not.
Yeah.
And like, what else are you gonna do with the early tempo in a tournament game?
I agree with you guys, but at the same time, I feel like there are very few Civs I'd want to pick over Argentina here. which
Yeah,
makes
but
me wanna put
you're
them in S.
inherently like the best. You're usually the best player in the lobby, right?
What does that have to do with it?
Which
It-
means you're just more likely to
it-
get teamed in any
It
position.
means you're more likely to get teamed on any civ you're playing. Not to mention, it also means that regardless of the civ you're playing, you're probably looking for an opportunistic kill anyway. So this kind of fits both of it. Like if you're sitting as Argentina, you're losing.
I agree. Yes. I think that's a good justification. You
I want
convinced
to
me.
ask this: how does Argentina compare to China on this tier list? Because I have a feeling that we're not gonna put China in A.
I actually was, but
Yeah, so was I.
I wanted to come up with China recently. I think this Civ is cracked, like way underrated.
The sheer amount
Okay.
of generals you get.
We don't
throw
need
at
to
your
do that. We don't need
opponent
to do it
is-
right now. We don't need to do it right now. Okay. Anyway, all right. Armenia. I'm making a push for S. New map, lots of mountains. So it's
Oh my god, I have watched a Grabo game and a Miota game recently, and the number of mountains that you can get on this new map
it's
is
amazing.
absolutely fucked.
And Armenia is a civ that like people don't want to attack at comps at all. And even crossbows pretty hard because that unit is actually oppressive. Assuming you have the hammers to build them. Not to mention they scale so well. Even if you have a bad start, as long as you've got mountains, like you can just artificially create science, which is just crazy. I think Armenia is such an underrated civ, especially since this last patch. And they're like the perfect balance between having consistent demos with them, like having always workable tiles via mountains, and having not enough stuff to warrant like getting teamed. So you have like a somewhat defensive unit in the beginning. You have really, really good scaling into the late game, but you're never strong enough where you're like, I need to get teamed. And once you get your observatories up, you are just like rocketing through the tech tree. So I think the Civ is so good. I don't think they're like as good as Wales, but I think
I don't know if the power level is there. You guys are thinking of Asparapet as if it was like the best unit in the game. I really like it's really expensive, and like I don't
It's
think
more
it really
expensive than
stops.
Knight, right?
it,
Something like that.
It's night
It's
cost.
it's
same
the
hammer
same
cost. They're both
cost as
80.
Knight.
Yeah, because 80 hammers. How are you gonna build an 80 hammer unit in classical era after getting hit with an attack that you might have not been expecting? I don't.
That's super fair.
The problem is you build two of them and then they start one-shotting all of the compos that are pushing you.
Unless the compos have spearmen in front of them, they kind of look at the spearmen funny and don't actually do anything.
I don't think this Civ is like particularly defensive in classical. Like the unit helps, but
I mean, your hill
doesn't make
bias,
them
right,
impossible to play.
which now has some sort of like, affiliation with more mountains.
Yeah.
So your land is naturally more defensive also.
I think I would pick Armenia a lot in the tournament, but I still think I want to scale it down to A because I just don't think
All
it's
right.
at the same
That's
level.
fair. That's fair. I'd rather pick Armenia than Argentina, though.
I do think Armenia is like really strong with the scaling though. Like one of the best Civs you can just sit in a corner and chill and win
Exactly.
the game on.
Yeah.
Even pre-patch, like this was one of the most annoying Civs to have in the game, like on the opposite side of the map from you, because you just knew that they were always going to be a problem later.
Yeah. Okay. Australia, I think this is probably like low C.
Yeah.
They're my favorite Civ, though. I think, or one of them. But that's the place for them for sure.
Yeah.
There are worse coastal Civs, but they're pretty down there.
They're pretty bad.
But what about their workers' late game scaling, guys?
Their
So many
worker
people
is
forget to
phenomenal.
implement
Their
it.
worker is good.
It's one of the best unique units in the game.
Yeah.
You're right.
Austria, I love this Civ, but I'm not stupid. I think there's a lot of optionality.
I'd give it
with
a
this Civ.
solid B just
It's-
because of the hill bias
Yep,
alone.
it's definitely a B.
I think I would lean C, honestly.
You don't have any survivability in Austria. What are we talking about? I think it's the late game bonuses are kind of weak, and the survivability
It's
is
you get a free leaning.
You have to build a win. Okay, you
It's
want
a
to build
cheap
a windmill.
windmill.
Yes, you want to build the windmills, but like I don't know, man.
Like you actually build the windmills and you get them early. You get them
Yes,
early and
you
they're
do.
cheap.
Yeah, but what if you're dead?
Oh my god. Dude, like what kind of fucking then Chile must suck. Like I don't what are you saying?
Well, Chile is at least coastal, so
Some,
that kind
some
of
Oh,
people would
protects.
say some people would say that Chile and Portugal are dog shit tournament sims, but I think they're kind of wrong. But
No, I don't think the scaling is that much,
Luca,
especially like
can
if
you
you
back me up
maybe
here?
are not dead but you lose a city or something.
I think these guys are massively underrating how much hill bias does for your early game. Like the sheer extra hammers you get, the fact that all of your settles are better, your settlers come out faster, like you're much more resilient compo or expo push.
I've only played like one game so far on the new patch, but wouldn't hill bias mean you're more likely to get these like shitty mountain chains that block your settles as well? Like which is good on Armenia, but every other hill bias it would be worse on. I don't know if that's how it works or not.
You do get a lot of mountains on hill biases now.
Yeah, isn't
Yeah.
that like not good?
It makes the Civ worse, but it makes the defensiveness better, which was your whole point. Well, we're just Kuba's point, where it's like you're gonna die.
Right. But at the same point, like the quality of your land also has to be taken into account.
Yeah, it's better quality of
know.
your land. I don't understand how you could make this like you could say this is worse than Axum. I mean, I mean Axum's better, but like that's not my point. Like I guess my point.
I could see it being below Axum, but
Okay, whatever. We'll put it.
Definitely
I don't want to spend
being
too
as
long on
mid-
this shit. Okay, IU bids.
solid B again here. The worker's great. Their scaling's not crazy out there. They're not going to catapult you forward too far. They have a very solid unit at an off timing, which are really solid in tournament settings. I think when you're able to attack people when they're not, frantically looking for guilds or for chemistry or what have you, that you can get those nice sneaky kills off.
Post uni trash is so good in tournament.
I don't know how to rate civs where like your bonus like mostly kicks in after you kill someone. Or okay, it's not like mostly kicks in, but a lot of their bonus is when you kill someone. It feels
Liberty Workers right out the gates is pretty strong.
yes. I mean, but it feels like hard to pull off something like that consistently in tournament.
That's fair. I mean, they're really consistent in honor civ. 2 extra happy per city is huge for honor.
Yes.
They're really good. Archer civ, obviously, they're really good. Liberty, you don't need pyramids to have pyramid effect. But I agree with you. I mean, their bonuses aren't great. I mean, they have desert bias, which kind of sucks. And then if you don't get floodplains and you're in the desert, you're just literally fucked. So,
Ooh, yeah, I forgot about desert bias. I'd probably put him dead in C then.
okay. Okay, Belgium. Kuva, floor is yours.
I mean, it's the early demos argument, right? And also, it is very obvious when you high rolled because you give someone your embassy and they know if you've high rolled or if your civ does like not much.
Yeah. I mean, I think the consistency with the Stod's really good.
Yeah, because even if you're not rolling the plantation regional, which by the numbers you're 60% likely to have a plantation regional,
Yeah,
you're still going to have 3 or 4 in your land, so it's still a couple extra hammers. The stades are solid scaling, and their Jiwi's actually a pretty decent unit.
It's definitely better in a tournament setting than in an NQ lobby.
Let's not go crazy about the states. The states are just Frank's the Frankish thing, but at the later attack.
No, but it's more than that because aren't they cheaper too? Yeah, they're 20 hammers cheaper and no gold cost. I mean, maintenance cost. So, but like no one's saying that building a Coliseum's difficult. But a lot of times you're like, I don't know if I can afford to build these zoos. Like, I don't know if I have time to build zoos. Like that's not like you have to build them on this. This is better than an opera house.
Yeah, the zoos are great.
Yeah. It's a low roll civ. I've argued this before, but like this Civ is a low roll Civ, just like how Sue is a low roll Civ, where it's like on average the game is you're gonna get the game you want, and it's only if you low roll that you don't. Whereas
I think if we, yeah, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say whereas like on a different Civ like Russia, you're guaranteed 2 extra hammers, but other than that, you kind of have to get a little bit lucky. So go ahead.
I was just gonna say if we put Argentina in A, I think Belgium should just go right beside it.
I agree completely with that. That's super fair.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bolivia. I think this is like such a sleeper good Civ.
Yeah, this one can really sneak up on you, because if you time that bulb of your great person correctly, you get to hide your demos for a little while, and then kind of explode when people aren't paying attention.
I think there was a tournament game where Miura used this Civ on Liberty, and he was making 200 hammers worth of combos on turn 60 into someone.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, it's a surprisingly good Civ, but it doesn't have that much early game resilience, right? It has
It has nothing. It has nothing.
Hill bias. That's all.
Yeah, sure. It has hill bias, but I'm saying like the whole Civ is based around these great people. The Colorado is okay. I mean, it can be amazing if you build around it, but like for the most part, you're not.
Yeah,
doing
I've seen some crazy Petro builds with plus 80 happiness type of thing, and it really goes nuts. But
yeah, the Colorado's insane in that case.
I mean, call me crazy, but I think Bolivia's late game is better than Austria's late game.
Yeah, and their bonuses come online.
Oh yeah. I think this is like a B tier Civ.
Yeah, I was gonna say high B for me above Axum. I'd put.
Yeah,
I agree
like
with
it.
Okay. Brunei. I think this is a clear A.
Oh, one of the best coastals in the draft.
It might be even S if we're gonna give coastals like a benefit. I think if there's only gonna be one S coastal, it's got to be Denmark. But like if there's gonna be 2, it's probably Brunei. I think the access to strats in the late game is so huge. Having some inherent culture is amazing. You tech defensively by default on the coast. Like it's sim to go to, to go to nav, which is amazing. Just from like a, opportunity cost perspective. It synergizes incredibly well with commerce. Synergizes incredibly well with Sistine. Just such a strong Civ. So I love this Civ. But
there's one thing that worries me with Brunei, which is not a thing with a lot of the coastal Civs, is that it doesn't do anything early on. Like it only starts doing stuff later. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, because its first bonus only really kicks in post Lighthouse, right?
But
Or post Lighthouse and having built a
later.
ping-pong.
Right? It's like you need to build them, and then they're like not that great of a tiles until navigation. So it's like,
I mean, I'd argue that like early game bonuses like this would, at least specifically like things that help you defend, matter a lot less on coast, because like if I'm thinking of killing a coastal player, I don't particularly care what civ they are most of the time.
I mean, what Civ would you care? Like what coastal Civ? Like I don't think there is one.
I don't know. Like
Chile with their obnoxious combat bonus.
No, but like even then, like it's not that big of a deal.
I was gonna say like some wide Liberty Phoenicia would be the most obnoxious, but
I mean, if they have money, right? Like Carthage or Netherlands, like that's
Carthage for
annoying.
sure.
Dude, even then, like I don't know. Like it
it
doesn't sound that bad.
I'm still slamming them.
Yeah, it's not like I'm attacking Gaul.
I think these early game defensive bonuses matter less for coast than for inland.
Yeah. All right, I'm happy with Brunei. Let's do Bulgaria. If you guys don't know what they do, because I didn't. Raider Specialists.
I would put an argument for S tier.
Raider Specialists are 5 science buildings, 1 culture. Didn't know that. Kunistas are kind of trash. They are knight impies.
Solid defensive unit.
Kunistas are not trash.
They're
like
bad.
as good if not better than Gauchos.
No, they're worse than Gauchos. These things kill themselves to fucking pikes. It's just like a fact.
So does a Gaucho.
A gaucho can trade pretty positively into a pike if there's a triple flank, or it's not like terrible. And then the granary is 32 hammers. That's mostly what you're building it for, and it gives gold to wheat and cattle. No bias. I think you want S. Make your argument. I was gonna put them in A, but
So yeah, it's got a secret sim bonus in my mind with that extra science you're getting out of the writer specialists. So you get to be that first person to the wonders. You get to be that first person to the timings, and you're not being that spooky guy showing number one hammers, number one food all the time.
I mean they want to go wide though, typically, right?
I think they're
This
very,
is
very flexible. They can do
Spain
everything.
tradition as well.
Okay.
Like incredible trad civ because all you want to do is be building granaries first, right? Because your granaries are coming down 2 turns faster than other people's granaries.
Yeah.
And try to get this writer filled up the earliest usually.
I mean, this is one of my favorite civs to play, but I just don't think it does that much for your late game. It's like a tempo-y civ.
Yep.
With...
You get a bunch of culture, right? You're getting 2 to 3 culture per city, depending when you're building your observatories or your public schools.
Yeah, that's solid. I wouldn't.
That's
put it in-
honestly pretty big. Like
That's what Greece does, but earlier.
Yeah.
yeah, but Greece. But you're building an ampy to do that. This you're
Yeah.
building non-culture. I don't know. I know what you mean though.
I think the Civ is really good, but I don't know if I put them in S. Probably just A.
And it's just a tempo civ without much of a scaling bonus, right? I think it needs to go alongside there with Argentina.
I'm fine with that. Byzantium.
D tier.
Really?
Above, yeah. So the problem with Byzantium is I feel like Byzantium is one of the biggest noob traps. You just get so caught up in wanting to cook some stupid religion, and you pick piety, and then you die. And
Dude,
that's not what you want to be doing in tourney.
When I see someone clicking Byzantium in the tournament and I spawn next to them, I'm clicking honor and archering them.
I agree. That makes them kind of Z tier, right?
That makes them D tier.
A wild Thor has arrived.
Or you just missed us rating your favorite Civ only in A tier.
Oh, yep. I see you did well. Oh, Belgium? Okay, gotcha.
No.
Oh,
Bulgaria.
they didn't put Bulgaria in S.
Oh, that's fine. Wales is better.
I kind of agree with you, but it's a fun civ.
Yeah,
Do you
but
need to
we want to
consider
win the tournament.
I've
right?
won 2 Byzantium games in tournaments, and I only lost one because Care Bear griefed me.
If you're going to
Yeah,
be stuck in an hour
yeah,
game,
but-
that's definitely offensive.
We know you're good at Civ, but is Byzantium good?
I think Byzantium is like a much better civ for you than it is for
That's
an
okay,
average.
fine.
tournament
We can put
player.
it in D, but like this just feels
Yeah.
fucking atrociously wrong. But that's fine.
Why do you
No,
think
it's
it's
just, like,
why do you think it's perfectly wrong?
Because it's so flexible. Like it's a noob trap civ, but if you know it's a noob trap civ and you just play it lib, and you're like, oh well, even if I take a dog shit rel, at least it's kind of helping me, and I have these really good amphitheaters. Oh, and by the way, my horseman is actually completely irrelevant, so I don't know I mentioned that. But the unit actually sucks. It's crazy. But no, I mean, like, I don't know. It's just like the ampy is actually nice, and then having a third belief, like let's say you're lib and you don't want to go piety second, right? You can still do temple rel here, and it'd feel amazing.
The amphis are great, but like, how many people do you think are not gonna get baited and actually click lib on Byzantium?
That's like that shouldn't be important. Like that. I mean, like okay, whatever. We're done. Canada.
Probably
scary.
C or maybe low B tier. Canada's really great just for the sheer amount of gold that they can generate really early, which gives them lots of opportunities for early pushes. And then a lot of even late game gold if they have the time to build their Timmies. But other than that, gold can be kind of a trap because it doesn't do a lot else for you.
Gold is scary and
Yeah, I
gold
was
is
gonna say, I
defensive.
think
This
gold
Civ
is.
is so scary late game. Like gold is just one of the best resources to have late game, and Canada
For sure.
generates the most of it.
Its unit doesn't do anything though, and if you don't roll a lake,
It-
you're just sad.
Its unit defends you from Artie.
I feel like there's a lot of
Well, not
lakes on the
defend.
map though.
Not defends, but like it stalls Artie for a long time, where you can often live.
I mean,
This
I
unit's
think the
also funny
timing of
for,
the
like,
unit's great.
Yes.
This unit's funny for factory RD because you get to one turn roads with it.
True. I don't know. I think you guys are. I think we're fine with like B.
I
Yeah.
think very highly of Canada. I think that it's like a high A.
I would not go that far. It's still a high roll civ. Like at the end of the day.
I suppose. Yeah, okay. I may be just thinking of the high rolls.
So my
Yeah,
argument
what
for
happens when
Carthage
your cap
was
has nothing?
so my argument for Carthage was that it was dog shit. But then they made islands a little bit better, and now it feels actually pretty good. And the coastline's better. So I actually think pretty highly of Carthage.
Yeah, I'd say middling B. The fact that the Civ leans towards Liberty is really strong for it.
Sure.
The free demos on your lighthouses are always solid. Being able to pick something silly like Messenger and having instant 14 science and 7 faith in your cities is pretty crazy.
Yep. Agreed.
I think this is a really good coastal civ because it has money early on, right? So it doesn't gold bleed and you like actually have a fast game. But you do not have late game scaling. But you have coast, right? Like coast is kind of default late game scaling.
I think one of the best and easiest ways to just or game plans for winning a tournament game is just settling a lot of cities on the coast, whether you're Tradition, Liberty, or Piety or whatever. And
It
Carthage
gives you
is
a
great at
lot.
that.
It's really good for playing for second.
Well,
I mean, it is.
no, you can.
Like you can still
mean,
win,
sure.
but you pretty much guarantee yourself second.
Yeah, that's kind of true.
Yeah. No, I mean I think Carthage is fine, but like when you compare it to the other coastals, you're like, well, I don't know. Like, would you rather play Netherlands or Carthage? Probably
Netherlands.
Netherlands.
Yeah. So, I mean, those are the cities it's competing against. China. Okay. All of you guys
I
are
got
talking.
attacked by China recently, and I would put this Civ high A, low S for a tournament setting. It's just the ability to grind anyone out at Chuko Nu, and then your general advantage for the rest of the game is kind of crazy.
Yeah, they're pretty strong.
I mean, the problem with China is it's a nothing civ until it gets some gold from libraries, and then it does something in crossbow. So in general,
That's
you're
an
going to
earlier
be
bonus
behind.
than a lot of civs.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, like, it's hard to get a consistent crossbow attack off if, like the civs you're fighting have a demo advantage and you don't.
Yeah, but you get to delete their entire army with a unit.
I know, I know. Yeah.
I once played a game where like I was having way better games than my Carthage or my China neighbor, and they just took a Liberty General finisher, generaled straight into my cap. There was nothing I could do about it, and just got shredded and died, even though my game was way better than theirs. So
Yeah,
I think this is like super impressive, and the UA scales really well.
agree.
All right. I mean, I'm fine. I think it belongs in A. So where do you guys want to put it?
Oh yeah, A sounds right.
I like it in A.
I don't think it's an S tier civ. I would put it either B or A, but yeah.
Cuba.
Can you remind us what does this civ do?
Yeah. So they get
One culture for
one-
every 5 in opposing players' capitals.
Yep. When you select an
They
ideology,
get-
you get 2 of the Jiwis. You get 50% less unhappy from ideology pressure, which I don't think anyone's going to be playing tourism, but in the case they do, that's nice. The main thing is this Jiwi. It's a bit weaker, 44 strength versus 50, but has 3 movement and is about 33% cheaper. and you can build it as soon as you get ideology. So it's effectively just like a 44 strength cav for a faculty timing, which is just kind of insane. So it's like
I
a
think
cav.
Civs C tier.
That being said, I don't think it's very good. Also, their opera house is pretty useless.
There's
The only thing
very
the Civ does
big-
for you is a little bit of culture, right?
there's a huge difference between a melee unit and a unit that can cycle.
No, I know that, but like compare that to like a 30 strength cav or something. Like you're gonna
Yeah, it's
one
still
shot a
good.
lot of stuff.
I just think the Civs bonuses are way too weak.
Again, I don't think it's great, but I do think it's like a interesting Civ. I don't think it's good. It's probably in D or low C.
I'm happy to see it in D.
Okay.
I was
Denmark. I
definitely-
want Denmark and S.
Yep. Agreed.
Civs so good, dude. With these fish changes, holy, like it's crazy. I mean, I just played a Denmark game. It was insane. It was insane.
Yeah, this Civ just does everything, right? You build a long ship, and all of your settles come down in 1 or 2 turns. You're getting free demos off your fish. You can do some insane late game pushes just coming off the coast and surprising people. And especially with the way that the map script has kind of jumbled the land a little bit more, I'm noticing people are spawning relatively closer to the coast on edges, and you can get some crazy attacks going with this Civ.
Yeah.
You get to capture any city from the coast, so
It's
if you
also
do
just
that right.
so consistent with like scaling to the late game. Like having that disembarkability is just nuts.
This Civ can have no sim bonus and it's still bullshit with its unit ability.
I think this is going to be probably the most banned Civ. If I had to guess, this or Russia is probably the most banned Civ.
I
think
feel
it's
like
easily
Russia
the
will be
most
more
popular.
banned just because Russia.
Maybe.
But playing versus Denmark late game is just complete bullshit.
Egypt. There's a lot of really good consistent Civs here. I gotta say. Everyone
Yeah,
kind of
solid B, maybe even an A Civ. 2 happy per city can enable a lot of different strategies.
The problem with Egypt is this Civ says come kill me because you get an extra bonus for
I'm
killing
worth
me.
$1 billion. Yeah.
yeah.
Does that really matter? Like, do you actually think of this when you play against Egypt? Because I certainly don't.
I don't think it matters that much, but I do think it matters when you're like, can I kill someone else after this? Which is actually
But
kind of relevant.
I was watching you kill an Egypt player just today.
Yeah, he didn't have his temples up.
It's a big issue. I mean, I think it's like a pretty good Civ. Like, I think it's probably B.
Like from a sim perspective, this Civ is like S tier almost. I feel like.
Yeah, I was gonna make an argument to put it in like high A or maybe even S.
I mean, make the argument.
It's
But I think the
it's
Civ
just-
sim bonuses are just so strong it probably belongs in A.
it's just too happy per city, right? Like that's a lot of
Well,
happy
it's
per
also the
city, and
wonder
that's a lot of
stuff.
resilience. Yeah, and the wonder stuff is also pretty good, right?
It's 15%. Yeah, I mean, that's a literal fucking pantheon.
All right, I gotta hop off, lads. Good luck.
See you, man.
Thanks, Luca.
All right. I mean, we can move it up. I'm fine with that.
We do have a
Franks.
lot of- We do have a lot of Civs in A, though.
I know. Franks.
Pretty average Civ.
I mean, this is like the most boring Civ in the whole game, right?
They do get one happy per city, pretty much. That's pretty much all they get, which is very mediocre. But
One faith
They're
from
pretty,
farms.
pretty mid. Pretty mid.
I mean, it does something to you. It allows you to play wide a little more on more variety
Its
of
bonuses
stars.
are actually good, but
They're not as good as Canada, but they're better than Cuba. So maybe C.
yeah, they're pretty good.
I think they're fine.
Yeah.
Gaul. I think this is like a straight A, right?
I disagree. This
Yeah, I
Civ is
think
like
this is-
basically the same as Frank's, no? I mean,
it's a little better.
It's way
It has
more
to-
defensive than Franks.
yeah, you get. I feel like the Frank's sim bonus is better, but the walls are very nice, and yeah, help deter
I mean,
early attacks a lot.
I like having 2 hammers in every city. Yeah, that's a lot of hammers.
Hot take. I mean, the unit is pretty underwhelming in most cases. So
The unit is just straight up worse than the longsword.
yeah, but I do think it's okay. If you don't want to put it in A, I think it's definitely a B tier civ. Like it's
Yeah, I like
very
it in B.
consistent.
That's fine.
Golden.
Here we go.
God, this stuff confuses me.
Okay, I will not comment until you guys finish. So go ahead.
I mean, I just played a game with Golden where I felt like I had 50 hammers in the entire game, but yet I was around top hammers.
Yep.
The entire game.
Yeah.
I think the Civ is like, if you don't kill any players or city states, it's not that good. IMO. Like, you get it, the more early gold with tributes, which you might not get previously. But if you do kill someone, it is like, or some city states, it is like quite rewarding. You get a lot of hammers from it. So I think it's similar to Ayubids in that regard. Maybe
Okay.
around the same strength as
Where do you put this? I'm gonna go out of order here.
Yeah.
Let's do Oman.
I wanna add this to Golden. Like, it benefits from the tournament a little bit because it benefits from having an army, right? Like, sometimes in the tournament you're just gonna sit with an army, and then you can use that army to tribute city states around you, even in the mid to late game.
True.
That's actually such a good point. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, 100%.
Move it even higher.
Now, let's do Oman real quick. Where do you put Oman? That's UAE. Oman. Where the fuck is Oman? Here's Oman. Let's do Oman. Where do you put Oman?
D tier.
D. Have you
Yeah.
played against late game Oman?
Well, just so many people rarely play. I don't really know with like the airfield, whatever that like mechanic is.
The airport.
The airport.
You get a free seaport.
Yeah, but it
I
acts
mean-
as an airport too.
It's the harbor that acts as an airport, not the seaport,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's impactful because if you take a city, you don't get to immediately airlift into it, which would be a lot more fun.
I mean, I assume Rise here is talking about like both the fact that
I've played one game and I was like in a really good spot. I killed 3 people, and this Oman player was just like killing all the CS on the map, and we got to like musket timing and like Cav. Bro, this mechanic is straight bullshit. Like, it's
Airlifting?
such dog shit.
It's just instant reinforcement.
It's like,
Just
yes,
from all the
and like you can take a fucking city state from a million miles away and it doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter.
Oman has this great thing where, like, some of the time you're just playing solo coast with 2 capitals too. It's just
Oh yeah, if you get a kill, Oman is great.
Well, Oman's also like a scary civ. So if you're at parity with them, you just are winning.
I think you're right that it's more of a late game civ for sure.
It's
Like,
but that's
Tourney,
like that's
it's
what this is
definitely, like,
about.
scary.
Like, I'm not
Like,
saying
early
it's
game,
good.
Not really.
I'm not saying it's
yeah.
good. I want to make this clear. I'm not saying Oman's good.
I think in the right hands, like in a good player late game, it could be pretty strong.
Like, and okay, imagine this. Imagine playing against Mali when they're playing Oman. I'd kill myself.
yeah, I mean, you can't win a naval fight against Oman, right? Like, it's impossible.
No, I meant like not even naval fighting. I just meant in general. Like, imagine Mali is scaled Oman. Nope. I'll concede. I don't want to play that. That sounds awful. That sounds truly horrible. I don't want to play that. But Oman creates these dynamics that are just so fucked because of this stupid airport mechanic.
Yeah, I mean, every unit is everywhere at the same time.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
All right. All that to say, it's probably C. But
I disagree. I think I want to put it like up top. Can I put it in S? Is that crazy?
That's so
that
crazy.
is that okay, you're trolling. But
No, I mean, what if you just play a normal game, like if you spawn next to your coastal buddy, you just kind of kill them.
Yeah.
I don't know who the S tier civs are the civs that like people play all the time or like are banned a lot. Like people don't care about Oman and like never play it.
But Oman is
I mean, your
foreign
point
part.
about the average Civ player is not going to like pilot Oman like correctly. So I don't think it's like,
Okay.
and it's only good if you kill someone typically. Now I will say I played against Spencer who played Oman. He took every CS on the coastal on the map. He had like 13 cities. That was fucking obnoxious. Like it didn't matter. His hammers were not like consolidated.
Is the UU like still good? Like is it like a OCC if you're next to
Yes.
the coastal? Like do you just like
UU is
auto
You can
rush
pretty
your
much just
neighbor?
kill him.
Yeah, you just run at them and they can't do anything because the unit has 12 range strength to like what 8 from a galley.
Yeah.
Something ridiculous.
Like that's massive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's messed up.
at least B tier for sure.
Like, would I rather play Oman or Carthage? I don't know.
Here's the funny thing about Oman. When you click Oman, you're almost certainly getting a random coast game or a game against a weaker player, because no strong player is gonna want to like actually play on the coast of this.
Yeah, for sure. It's like, yeah.
I'd still always rather pick Carthage, but that's just me.
We can put it next to Carthage. I mean,
I would pick. I don't know. I would pick Oman over Carthage. I'd pick it over Brunei.
Okay, you're crazy.
Netherlands is the
You
one
are
I'm
crazy.
thinking.
Let's stop. Okay. All that to say, Golden's bonus is so good. The airport mechanic is extremely relevant, especially when you're on a pretty wide empire, and especially if you're getting teamed. Okay, so that, and one other thing I'll mention is that Eat programmed it to always build the Yam route, like the caravanserai, the thing that gives you the airport mechanic. It always builds it first. So you're building a lot of base, if you guys don't know, that building also just gives 3 raw base science. So it helps you sim out of your current position because you get 50% bonus. Let's say you like, this is like Miota's dream civ. If I had to pick a civ that Miota would love, it'd probably be Golden Horde, because it thrives in really long grindy wars because of the UU having charge, having really good movement. It's like also a pike. It's really strong. It's complementary more than like the star, which is really important. But when you get cities, you never puppet them. Or, I mean, you never annex them. You just leave them puppets pretty much until you finish your unis or factories or whatever you're flipping to. And what that allows you to do is if someone takes back the city, or let's say like you get attacked on the other side or something and you're still flipping these cities, you're not giving them techs because they can't steal from puppets. So there's less of a reason for someone to attack you because they're not getting anything except, you know, the shell of a city. The city flips itself. The main reason flipping cities is difficult is because of Happy, and you have to build courthouses. This has reduced Happy from occupied cities, coupled with the fact that you're always puppeting. So you never flip it until you're already like exuberantly happy. I'll give you a perfect example. I have a game to upload still, but it was against Smiley. Smiley was playing Coast. I was playing Lib Golden. Land was okay, nothing great. I take one of his dog shit cities that he settles inland, okay? Thing has a granary and is 3 pop. Guess how many turns it took to build a wall? It's got like
4.
It was 4. The thing had like 6 hammers, right? But because it's got a 50% production modifier, if you send it a caravan, it just grows into hammers or grows into whatever, because it's on like gold focus or whatever. So, you know, you could kind of get fucked by that in some cases. But you know, you're like massively like building these, you're ripping through build queue. It's incredible. That city I took was better than most of my expands after like 15 turns or 20 turns. So I'm not saying it's an amazing civ. I think it's probably one of the most underrated civs in the whole game, just because people don't fully understand like how to abuse it properly. Also, I will say, and I know Knights mentioned that you got burned by this, or Kuba or someone did, but like the early tributes is actually very consistent. It only, if let's say you find a hill CS, it takes 3 warriors, 3, and you can tribute a hill CS. It takes a warrior and a spear to tribute a hill CS. So it's actually very, very. If you have two hill CS near you or something, after you scout with your warrior, you find another. You build like a warrior instead of a scout, and you build another warrior. You tribute them all. It instantly pays for itself. So it's just one of those things where like once you kind of do a little bit of research and play it a little bit, it's actually really good. Now I'm not gonna I think it's very difficult to pilot, and I think obviously the only way it works out pretty well is if you're killing someone. I think it's amazing trad because you're pretty much guaranteed a worker buy, and I think worker buy is probably better than almost any Civs early game bonuses for trad. Like, would I rather have a worker buy or would I rather have 2 hammers
Mexico?
from Russia? Probably take the worker buy. Maybe
what about Mexico?
Yeah, like or. Okay. I'm not even entertaining you.
He's right.
No, he's not. Anyway, okay. Goths. I hate this Civ, so I won't comment. So you guys can kind of pick.
Oh, it's easily S tier, right? For tourney games, it's just like the hammers movement, just late game, just killing hammers.
I hate it. Like, I don't want to play this.
Or is it like so feared and strong that people want to team you and like kill you and like have a timing on you?
I've always felt Goths is a little overrated. Like, it's not as scary as its reputation.
I mean, once you lost heal and kill, you're not this medieval, like, just this medieval juggernaut Civ. You're just hammer Civ, right? Like,
Yeah.
It is a lot of hammers though.
It makes the
hammers
game
a
a degenerate
lot.
skirm a lot of the time, right? Like it does. It does.
100%.
Like if I see Goths on the
No.
other side and it's piloted by like an aggressive player, I feel the need to be aggressive
Like hoi
too.
polloi on Goths. Like, what do you do? Like, what do you see?
Well, if I'm on the other
No,
side of the map,
parity.
I'm gonna try to kill my neighbor, so at least I could fight at parity. Otherwise, I'd have to team with Hoy, and then against Hoy. That's gonna teaming at like crossbows or like Cav is just always fucking doomed.
I think if the Goth spawns on the other side of me, I'm just clicking tradition, building every wonder, and hope they don't get to me in time.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's absolutely fair. I mean, where do you put it? I think it's like a Civ that really kind of it has a deterministic play style, and I don't know if that really, meshes well with what you want to do in tournament games.
I don't think very highly on this Civ. Like, since it lost heal and kill on melee units, I don't think killing people is particularly consistent with this at all.
You have to do like the Goths killing thing. Like, you can just enjoy the hammers. Like, it has decent send bonuses.
Like if
Yeah,
you
I think
compare
the
this,
hammers only like come in like industrial mostly. It's like you build extra hammer tiles, but you usually don't like
they
sometimes you
kick in
don't have
as
the
you get
clock
to
to
metal
work
casting.
them.
Ironworking gives it 2 hammers, gunpowder 3,
Or
dynamite
yeah,
4.
ironworking, not metal casting. But I don't know.
Yeah,
I
but
think
two
this
hammers on an empty tile is just like creating a subpar resource tile. Right? Like
you work.
it's a
work them.
4-yield tile, right? Like it's
Yeah.
good.
I don't know. I don't have the highest opinion of the Civ.
Like, I think the Civ is. It is feared for a reason, and that's like it generates so many hammers, and like, it is scary, like the attack they can do, and how many hammers they can have after a kill, like similar to like a golden horde or something. And you don't need to do this like degenerate playstyle where you're killing everyone. You can just like take a kill, sit back, and scale. Completely fine for that.
I mean, to that point though, like getting teamed on versus as Goth is actually like probably one of the better Civs to get teamed as because you can
for sure.
you can out hammer them or you can keep up in hammers.
Yeah, I mean, it is like that is the main draw of the Civ. It just makes so many hammers.
Yeah, this is S tier among Civs that I don't want to play against, but like not S tier in terms of like Civs that will win the game.
Yeah, exactly. And we're trying to base this off winning the game. So where do you put it?
B tier.
I think it's B or A.
All right, we can put it.
I'd lean towards A.
I think
Personally.
I never I never want to click this.
I'm
Civ.
never gonna click it.
Um,
Absolutely not. But all right, everyone except Kuba can contribute in this next one. Hungary.
Very strong. I think Knights will probably win this tourney by doing 2-city Apo Hungary.
Oh yeah, true.
This is Purify's favorite Civ. So for that alone.
I don't know if they're good. I'll let somebody else comment. They're like they have meme strategies. I don't know how good it is.
I think it's like the best civ in the game if it has a faith one natural wonder. Like if you get a Luru as the civ, like you are golden.
Yeah, for sure.
The Civ is like, I feel like whenever I play this Civ, I have strong games, even though the bonuses don't actually seem that impactful on paper. So I find it hard to evaluate. Also, the Civ is one of those that like its bonuses come early and don't really scale.
Yeah. I really struggle to find use for the wall stuff. It just feels like it's like not enough to
man.
justify.
I forget it every single time I play
Yeah,
the Civ.
like wall,
I
castle,
never-
arsenal, military bases, one culture, one prod. Like who gives a fuck?
Yeah, I don't build it. It seems like a waste of hammers. Like maybe I'll build a wall eventually. That's about it.
I think the Art
Let's do hammers on the
Cabezier
walls.
is actually so good though for a tourney grind fest. Like I don't know.
I think unique units in general are like a bit overrated in a tourney setting because like
Because people
you
know
can
they're
always
coming.
just expect
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
Yeah, expect it and prepare for it.
But that
But-
being said, it's like one of the civs that like if they're having a good game, and Hungary usually has pretty good games because of the palace stuff. Like you can prep for it, but what does prep for it look like? Like unless you've
like,
got muskets
if
in
their
forts,
game-
like you're not
If
gonna
their
hold
game
it.
is better than yours, they are still just going to roll over you with Black Arquebusiers.
Yeah,
Or not roll over you necessarily, but they're going to have like a really strong attack on you.
I mean it's gonna take a while. That's the problem. I remember watching a Cushy game where I think he was attacking with these. Like I remember we were backseating. Cushy, I think this was you.
I was getting frustrated with the mechanic because like sometimes like the shots weren't going off. I had to like click SB and just like I had to like
Yeah.
I was like fumbling with the movement that it wasn't as like easy to control as you think.
But not even that. Like we were fucking annihilating this guy. The war still took like over 15 turns.
Yeah.
Because they're just slow.
Well, I'm thinking of a famous. I think it was one of like the first tourney where Ashland was in like this absolutely stacked lobby. But basically, Cyril was gonna arty some hungry guy, and the hungry guy like skipped.
Yeah, no, I was
university.
in that game. Yeah.
Oh, you were in that stack game where Ashwin won by stealth, where the hungry guy skipped universities, went black arquebus because Sierra had like it was like an apple, or he knew it was coming, and just spammed out like 50 of them.
No,
And- and,
that
like, Cyril was
Ashwin
so
didn't win
frustrated.
Ashwin didn't win in stealth. I think he got a CC after he killed me. That game maybe you're thinking of something else, but I'm pretty sure
It was a chaotic game, but Sierra had
Yeah.
like this ear war. He had an arty timing, but
Yep.
there were so many black arquebus, and there was every tile was forted. And Sierra like with a bunch of cavalry couldn't
He
get
was-
the kill at
Cyril was
irrelevant
so
timing.
mad. I think that was against Era, if I'm not mistaken.
It was pretty solid lobby.
Yeah, I mean it was Era, Sierra, Hoy, me, Miota, and Ashwin. And Ashwin
Yeah,
won.
yeah, I think that sounds right. Yeah, and
Yeah.
Ashwin won. But yeah, they're a very defensive unit. I think it's a very strong civ. I think it's at least an A.
I don't know if it's
I
an
really
A.
like
It's
this.
probably in B.
I really like the Civ. I think A is too high.
Yeah, I think it's in B.
Yeah,
Really?
B sounds reasonable.
All right, Kuba.
But where do you think it is?
Kuba, what do you think about Ireland?
All right, you guys done putting the shit Civ figures too high? All right.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Ireland, it's like it's so boring. It's like Frank's, maybe a little better than Frank's, right?
I think it's pretty good. I mean the Finian's insane for holding Artie. Like that's like when people say like how can I defend against Artie? Finian's actually can.
Yeah, they're stupid units.
It's like Frank's but better, right? Like it has a little bit of happiness. It has quite a bit of like sim bonus in hammers. The Finian is a very good unit. It's a lot better than the Frankish unit.
Yeah,
That's for
it's
sure.
actually
The
insane.
Civ is like marginally better than Frank's, I think.
I think it's good enough to warrant putting it in B.
I think that's probably reasonable.
Yeah, I think it's solid B. I think it's like pretty close to Hungary. Okay, Kuba, I'd actually like to hear your opinion on Iroquois. I can never make the Civ work, so.
Well, it got the map changes help it a lot, right?
Oh, really?
There are more
Yeah, the
forests
map.
now.
Yeah,
There's
map
more-
added forest.
A lot
Oh.
more forests now, apparently.
I didn't
Yeah, the
know.
Civ I actually think is pretty strong.
Yeah, the Civ. This is one of those Civs. It's out there with Vietnam, where like if you hit the land, your land is both you have a strong game and you're really freaking annoying to attack
Oh,
because
for
all of your
sure.
land is
Yeah.
The Civ's impossible to
rough
kill,
terrain.
man.
Dude, I'll never be as embarrassed as I was comboing Santorum, and he just shit on me. And, like, these fucking units in the Mohawk Warrior in a forest is insane.
Unkillable.
Like, so dumb.
Yeah, you can shit them out so easily.
I mean, it's 20 strength unit. Like, what the fuck?
It's one of these Civs, like also in the late game, right? Like you just have so many hammers.
Yep.
That just like this is one of these Civs where you get teamed and you can definitely overcome the team because you just like built more units than two players combined, and your land's defensive because all of your land's freaking forests.
I also put a lot of value into, like, having, like, for instance, like, if Colombia was in this, I think one of the best things about Colombia is that they're incentivized to go chem. So it's a defensive tech, it's also an offensive tech, and it's their sim. So
Yeah.
I think
Just
like
similarly to-
to steel and stuff. But
Easy detour for Himeji as well.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's such a good point too. Like, you want to go to steel? Okay, I'm one tech away from getting like probably the best wonder in the game. Like, okay, cellulose.
50 hammer shop. It's pretty nice.
Super good for tempo, really good for wide. Helps a lot with build queue. Just really
Gold's a
good
little nicer with the roads. You don't need a road in every tile. Maybe save some gold.
Yeah, and I mean the other thing about that that's really good is, like, let's say someone does kill you, like, they can't use your roads. Like, it's
Yeah,
actually so annoying.
There is a better argument for that. Let's say someone takes your first city and you don't have any roads coming out of it.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Forest.
Yeah,
Takes them like 2 more turns to walk to your capital from
Yep.
that city.
The Civ is great in tournament.
Israel.
This is like
Well-
anti-tournament Civ.
I love the Civ, but yeah, it is a bit anti-tournament, I guess. But the sim bonuses are really good for trad.
It encourages you to play some glass cannon builds that are not the greatest in tournament.
I don't know. Like, what kind of builds do you mean?
Like Cog, Apo.
No, I don't think you have to. I think that's not even.
You don't
the best way
have to,
to
but
play Israel. I think the best way to play Israel is just 4 or 5 city trad.
Why?
I think the best way to play Israel is Maccabi and not give a shit about all of this.
Dude, the
fancy garbage.
Maccabi's not good.
No, it's not that good.
It's not.
two-
I
two
feel like
reasons.
this is
Maccabi is-
I feel like this is
Yeah,
worse
that-
that can be a good upgrade
Well-
in it, but like
Like you get pasture culture just passively,
Well,
which allows you to like either also take a culture panth on 5 city trad and like get like a really fast finisher time, or like take a demo panth on like maybe even 5 city trad and it's still reasonable. On top of that, like being able to purchase your national college and not have to fit it into the build queue is like massive. You get it like both earlier and
How much does it cost?
it costs
300
300 gold.
I mean, I
think
guess you
200
often have
and
that,
it's-
especially if you get
it's
certain
not
range.
that bad.
There
'Cause, like
space for that?
if you think about it, like you don't have to grief your game that hard to get 300 gold for expos, right? Like only getting like 500 plus requires a lot of effort. 300, like
260 faith rye, 260 faith, 300 gold.
yeah, I mean you're
I think
not.
it's discounted to 200 if you're mandate though, or something like that.
Interesting.
I actually
Alright.
don't love it.
I've only played the
I
map
like
of
Trad.
COG, so I never really thought to play him Trad.
But do you guys feel like Israel is better than Byzantium?
I do for sure.
Yes,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not
These
even
guys
yes,
are crazy.
but only barely.
These guys are
I
crazy.
think-
Is it a D?
I mean, no, please.
I think it's like bottom C, maybe top D,
I don't know.
probably bottom C.
I would never pick the Civ. I pick Cuba over the Civ. 100%
I'd always
Civ.
pick Byzantium over it, but that's just me.
Same.
I mean, Byzantium is offensive. That's why you pick it, right?
I'll pick this if it comes to my draft, and you'll see. It's good.
Let's go, Thor.
Oh wow, good. Thor is helping the cause. It's a free win for me. Okay. Italy.
Yeah.
Eh?
I love culture.
Bro,
I-
this Civ's like
I'm
one of the
pretty-
best scaling Civs in the whole game.
It is
Yeah, I'm not
pretty
super.
good,
I don't really
pretty
play.
good in tourney.
I mean, you have early tempo, so you probably don't die with this Civ, right? And you have insane scaling.
Well, it's all about culture, right? Culture from specialist, GA policy, artist gives you 3 more. And so if you get Chichen or universal suffrage, you're like never out of GA. And then Basilica, you get at fact timing.
And you know what's the great thing about culture? It's not visible on the demo screen.
Yep,
That's a good point.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I might be sleeping on them. Culture is
I
extremely
think it's
important.
A for
Yeah.
sure.
You're probably right.
I
Really?
think
Yeah.
in a normal FFA, the Civ is like only average, like B tier.
Yep.
I could see pumping it up for
Exactly.
tourney though.
Exactly.
You can really push ratio in a civ like this and just like store
Agreed.
up some artists or whatever writers and just pound out a tree like instantly.
Okay, Kilwa. I think everyone knows what they do, but the coral port is 2 hammers from coral, 1 culture from fish, pearls, and crabs, and then 2 gold from whales.
Does it have base 2 food, or is it a weavy thing?
That's a weavy thing.
That's weavy.
Okay.
The workshop's obviously cool. It's just free shit. They like obviously they are inclined to play commerce. I feel, and I don't know how that goes over in the
Could
tourney.
be
I feel like
Patro too.
Well, it's commerce or Patro, right? It's definitely not a wide civ.
Yeah.
You
I would
can-
argue.
can
I would
definitely.
argue that.
But
I
playing
think this
piety on
is
it
just-
is very nice because the gold on the trade routes and that like piety on the coast, you feel like gold is an issue,
Yeah.
and that's actually pretty big in the early game.
It's a good point.
I mean, I think that's the strongest ability of the Civ, the early game gold.
Yeah.
And I think that's just worse than Carthage, isn't it?
That was about to
Yeah.
compare the two. So
Yeah, I think the Civ is worse than Carthage.
Like how
Yeah,
good do you think
I agree.
how good do you think the Dao is? Like
I
an
I
Apple,
don't
like,
think it's a real unit.
an Apple
bad.
Dao rush. Is that even a thing?
Probably is a thing, but it's probably pretty shit. Especially with the
I-
changes that they made to melee naval units.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
I've
Got it.
outrushed people, but if
If
they're
you
like
don't-
settled on a hill and build a wall, it's over.
If you don't kill someone in 1 or 2 turns, your game's over.
Yeah.
I
mean-
think I'd move this Civ down a tier. I don't.
Yeah,
Think
I
not sure.
agree with Kuba.
Yeah.
I think it's better than Australia, but
I don't know if we're actually ranking them like here. But
yeah, okay.
we can
Really?
adjust it
I
later.
hope we're
Kinda-
not.
Congo.
They're good.
Is this
They're
a
not
good
good.
Civ for tourney?
Yeah, I think all their bonuses like are good for tourney. but-
I was gonna say they're
disagree.
not.
They're not a good Civ for tourney.
They have this annoying ass bonus that is ruining the Skirm tourney right now, which is the border expansion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that bonus is so good in the tourney, too.
Yeah. I mean, it's good for
Yeah,
war in
but
general.
you are intentionally making your game weaker at first, like for the most vulnerable part of it. I mean, yeah, you scale pretty well, but like you're going to be one happy short all game.
Like,
for
is the
City.
scaling even real? Because a lot of these games are going to be killing someone, and then like after that, like you don't have a happiness building anymore, and it becomes a lot harder to like win when you don't just farm a CC after killing someone.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
and it-
still a
game-
seven. It's still a 7 hammer, or no? Yeah, it's 7
It's like
hammer, 7
5.
gold at industrial.
Yeah, I mean, it's
But you get
The
no
big part
happiness
of
on your
like the big part of the Congo solution to the happiness problem is you ally a city state. In tournament, somebody's just gonna kill your city state. Sometimes before you even get to ally it.
Yeah, I was gonna say not having happy on your Coliseums can actually be an issue.
Oh, it's a huge issue. It's a huge issue. I've played a couple Congo games where you kill someone with crossbows, then you go land ships. You have to go police state. Like it's not even an option. You get both auto policies that give happy, and you're like, holy shit, I killed one person, and I'm like out. So then you go police state, and then you're like, well, thank God there's not 2 people left, because if there were, I'd have no happy for this.
Yeah, and like if you're playing for like to win Dom, you actually do have to kill everyone, right? And then it becomes a lot harder when you don't have Colosseums.
Like it is a nuts expo civ or like early war civ. Just getting the 4 hammers, 5 gold, like that's just nuts.
Is it nuts?
It's pretty nuts.
yeah, it's
pretty nuts.
insane.
It is
It's
pretty
so
nuts.
good.
I
You're
don't know, for
making
an
like
basketball
you're
game, like,
consistently over like 60 to 70 GPT.
Yeah, but what if somebody's building all the wonders of tradition on the other side of the map, and you're just like,
Kuba, like
well,
these, you could say
yours
the
might get
same thing with
slower.
everything.
what about the swordman? We haven't talked about that.
It's good.
Is
It's
it
pretty good.
solid?
I mean,
It's-
who wants to slam into the Civ like when the
No, you
swords
can't crossbow the Civ.
No, it's horrible. Like they just put them there and they just don't die. Like at
Yeah,
all.
Arv tried this the other day. He did his Timurid bullshit where he like planned the whole army across the map.
I mean, I would argue that's a sim benefit too,
he,
right?
he attacked the Congo guy and just did not work.
I mean, if you bring post-uni trash at them, then that's pretty good.
Yeah,
against
but I mean,
Congo.
a knight is just gonna laugh at the unit. So.
Yeah.
Okay, where do you put it? I have a hard time ranking this. I think it's probably like B.
High B.
I'd argue for C.
I was gonna say low B. Like,
Yeah, like a B minus.
yeah,
I don't know. Realistically, like I don't think I'm ever picking the Civ.
I might.
I hate this.
You only
I'm
get
bad.
3 picks,
good.
guy. You
Oh,
only
but
get
yeah,
3 picks.
Three picks knights. 3 picks knights. And so I don't
Okay.
know.
Maybe if my draft is Byzantium, Greece, and
Yeah, I'm clicking every coastal over Congo.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean,
I'm surprised this Civ didn't do better. Maybe low B, whatever.
Korea.
Man, that's a shit coastal.
Well,
kind
like
of
you said,
bad, but they
changes.
do unironically scale well.
Like the turtle ship is obviously now a shitty unit or shittier unit because of the coastal change, the unit changes. Like it has the 2 units are both like meh.
The watch is not meh. It's ass. It's terrible. It's an offensive
Like,
tread.
Isn't it just defensive only?
I mean, yeah. I don't
It's
know.
like it's only a defensive unit, which then rarely happens. It's a
I've
niche
seen
timing.
Luca kill so many people with the watches.
I've killed a bunch of people with watches. They're fun, but they're not good.
Yeah,
I
I mean, if
agree.
you know how to play against them, they're shit.
I mean, the Civ is like mostly just the UA though, but
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
It's like 100% the UA, right? Like it's just
Yeah.
You just try to.
I don't know. Turtles are really annoying to attack into. Like,
yeah, like the units are both good on defense.
Like plant play piety is also. I know I love doing that in Korea.
I mean, this is at most a C. I think it's worse than Australia.
Yeah,
I put it
pretty
in C.
fucking
Like,
bad.
the science
The
bonus.
science
early
scaling
game-
is very good, and
early
Cushy
game
did get
science
a
is
win
very
on the
nice.
Civ, so
Well,
we gotta give
that
it
was
some
that
love.
was the most horseshit I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I mean, you just hope that you spawn on an island, and then your civ's great, right?
it was just someone with like room temp IQ could have won that game.
Like you know, no one's gonna attack you for the entire game. The Civ is great.
Okay, Madagascar. I'm a big fan of the Civ now.
Oh, it's stupid. It's so good.
So good. You
It's
do not need to
still
play
stupid.
Cog. Cog is such a bait.
But
I think
even
Cog
still,
is
with
still
like,
good on
like,
I think it's
five
good. I
city-
think it's good. I think it's good. But I don't think you need to play it. I think you play White Piety
No.
to be great. I think
No.
you could play like
Oh yeah. Of course.
anything.
I played 5 city, piety cog the other day. It was like 300 faith, and then with Holy Warriors, like that's nuts.
Oh no!
Hey, Holy
Don't
Warriors
get
Civ.
started on that.
Okay,
Kushi.
we don't
Yeah,
we don't
we
go
need-
Holy Warriors on this Civ.
We
no.
need to talk about Holy Warrior scaling.
No, we're not doing that. I think that the beauty of the Civ is like the Rovas are such good buildings, and the fact that you can buy them with faith without needing a rel is actually super relevant.
Yeah.
Just I don't know.
Yeah, they are very, very
They allow
good.
you to be more greedy with your beliefs. You don't need to take feed because you can get Rovas, which allows you to get like rel center and then a building or something like that, and you still will have faith to go around. Just really, really strong.
Can you attack people with this civ?
You still can attack
Yes.
people with the Civ.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
absolutely
Oh, yeah.
bullshit.
This Civ is like one of the most oppressive crossbow Civs in the game.
I think this
Shit.
Civ's also going to get banned a lot. I think it's like going to get banned because people don't like playing against it rather than it being like amazing. But I do think it's really good.
Yeah.
I'm happy to put it in A.
I think it's an A tier
It's-
for sure.
Still the downside of a forced piety Civ, but this Civ is dumb.
Yeah.
Some of these
Yeah, I
upgrades,
think you can play it lib.
some of these upgrades are just nuts. Like it becomes a great general. It gains a chance to capture defeated enemies in like
Yeah.
4 range.
There's the 4 range one is like so crazy.
It's so stupid. Yeah. Okay. Manchu. Another Civ where, because it's tournament, it's actually better than if it's in free-for-all. Free-for-all is
Definitely.
probably dog shit. Tournament's actually probably pretty good. So,
Man, if this Civ had stable bonus,
oh
it
my
would
god,
be
yeah.
F.
Absolutely. I think I'll just throw out mine. I think it's probably like high C. I think, you still can't get over the fact that it's a nothing Civ, literally until Industrial. But at Industrial, having Cavs that have volley and having,
Bombers,
bombers
stealth
that have
bombers.
volley is actually a really fucking big deal. So,
Land ships too.
I would say it's B a lot because of the gold, right? You have so much gold, and just in the late game, you go into Atomic and Info Era, just having a gold for the upgrades,
Yeah.
modern upgrades, stealth upgrades, like. when you
yeah,
have a
I've
huge
actually
army-
forgot that
when,
they,
when you have
there's
it
no
pays
gold maintenance on units
armored units and bomber units pay no gold maintenance,
and mounted.
and so just late
Yeah.
game gold is a serious issue when it comes to the huge armies.
And
Not to mention
yeah.
you can
in,
build
like-
your factory or your banks.
Yeah,
A
in
lot of
90
time that's like a
like-
forgotten building. So
In 90% of tournament games, I find myself building my banks, and it's just like these banks are really good.
Sometimes
Yeah,
you have to slip in a stock exchange or two because gold is so bad.
yeah.
This
Stock
Civ
exchange is
has.
pretty
This is definitely one of these civs though that like it is a scary enough late game civ that people will just like kind of be more likely to
And that's
attack
exactly
you.
why I think it's C. It's because it's still very vulnerable early. Like I said, it does nothing early, but it scales pretty freaking well. So
I was going to ask you guys a question, like a civ like this. Like, is it better to play like people want to kill Manchu early, like you guys said? Like, so are civs that are not as strong late game like better in kind of like weird way that people won't feel like the immediate need to kill you, and so it gives you a chance to kind of scale.
well, I think it's like
you know.
civs. I mean, for S, right? It's civs like Wales and Denmark that have really, really, really good scaling, but they also get stuff in the beginning. And
Yeah,
they're
you're
still
correct,
strong in the
yeah.
beginning. Like Brunei, similarly, Armenia, like also scales really well late.
Yeah, but Manchu gets nothing in the beginning.
Manchu gets nothing. And it's
Literally
not
nothing.
even like, okay, here's actually a good comparison. Maybe we should do these two right next to each other. Let's do Manchu and Yugo. Because I think they're very comparable in like what your goals are and what you're trying to do. Right? You're trying to scale, you're trying to get to late game. But I feel like the Yugo bonus is better than the Manchu bonus.
Hard disagree. I think the Manchu ability to sneakily take cities out of nowhere is so much better than like whatever shitty sim bonus that Yugo has. Or not shitty, it's good, but like it's still just a sim bonus. It's not a I kill your empire in 3 turns bonus.
I do feel like Manchuria has kind of fallen off the radar in terms of like this scary civ that I need to take out immediately. So
One thing I actually should mention about Manchu is their calves get an extra move, which is actually huge.
their calves are insane, obviously.
I mean, Manchu bonus is just bullshit, right? Like,
Yeah.
I
All right,
feel
where do you
like
guys
I
put
like
Manchu then? Where do you put Manchu?
I like Manchu more than Yugo. I think.
C or B.
I think I put Manchu in B.
I think it's a
Even
solid
high
B.
B.
Solid B.
And then Yugo, we're going to put in like bottom of C.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not that impressive, right?
But like in
the
tourney,
bonus, not
so
that
many of these
good.
games go late, as we say. So that's
The thing about Yugo though is like it doesn't have one of the best late game bonuses. It has a good late game bonus, but like
I don't know.
I just don't think it's just that good.
The museum's really good if you build it, obviously.
Yeah.
The tanks ignore Zoc.
that better than the Panzer.
Would you rather have Yugo or would you rather have Austria?
Those are completely different.
I mean, would you rather have the late game Austria or late game Yugo, right? Like, would you have 20% GP gen or what Yugo does?
Whatever Yugo does. I don't know.
Yugo's bonus is better than Austria's like in the late game, but
Yeah,
I think it's rated. I'd rate it pretty similarly to Austria.
I mean, the fact that order's weak is an inherent buff to Yugo because Yugo never takes order.
Yeah.
And the fact that like auto got nerfed makes Freedom Yugo better, which in my opinion is the best version of Yugo.
Yeah.
So I don't know. if there's a world where you could play Lib Aesthetics Yugo and make it to the late game
It's
and pick
insane.
Freedom, you are like, oh my god, you are a god. Like you, like it's probably like the best feeling ever. But you're never
you
gonna
get
have that
Freedom.
happen.
Yeah,
It
but
is
then
a
you
Disneyland
get teamed
goal.
and you're lib aesthetics, and you're like, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah. Well. Yeah. All right. Anyway, we'll just keep it at C. It's fine. All right, Maori.
Really good.
Man, I love this Civ, but this is a tempo Civ. It's
Yeah.
also kind of the war Civ, but
They have like war bonuses. You have forts
I
everywhere.
didn't realize, but did you know the paw is a fort?
Yeah, exactly. You have a fort on every tile on this Civ. It adds a lot of food late game.
It's a lot of food. It's good faith.
So in the first 5 turns, if your warrior on like turn 1 gets like a movement ruin, you
It
get
stacks.
Oh my god.
I will
It's
say, I've
actually
mentioned
not
this
good.
before. A lot of people don't know this, but the way that fortifying in this game works is you need to have a full movement bar to press full fortify. So
Yeah.
Maori actually breaks this because it gives you 2 movement on the turn your unit spawns. So you can move into a fort if it spawns that turn, and as long as you have over the the full amount of movement in a unit. So for instance, like you build an infantry, it's going to spawn with 4 out of 2, and then if you move like 1.5, right? So you're at 2.5 movement. You actually can still fortify the turn it comes down, which is
And
huge.
and you can still swap it. with
And
that
you can still
0.5.
swap it. So you can swap it and then put in another fortified unit. Then obviously that fortification is going to carry over the next. So it's actually quite defensive of a Civ.
Yeah, that's a really significant defensive bonus.
Now that being said, it's still a tempo Civ, like Cuba said. But I will say I've had some really crazy games on the Civ, and it's always very consistent. I don't think it's like anything crazy, but I think it's probably like a middle B Civ. Like if it's in my draft, there's a good chance I'm picking it. So
Consistency is a good word because I think it can
I
make
mean, it's just-
Badland good with the pause.
yeah.
How does it compare to Argentina, right? It's like it's sort of similar.
I mean, it's
But
just
Argentina, you
worse.
still need
Argentina's got
RNG on
better
the
sim
pad.
bonuses.
Argentina,
Yeah.
but I would always play this over Goths.
Yeah, 100%.
I think B's fair.
Yeah, like high B.
Okay, Mexico. One of my favorite civs, but it's such a high roll civ, it's not even funny. So I don't want to. This can't be higher than low B. Just because if you
I
get a
was
bad
told-
cap, you're fucked.
I was told the free worker in the early game is really strong.
Okay. Well, that is
I mean-
true. But when you have 2 sheep in your capital and you have to build a fucking settler without going unhappy, I don't know how much that worker's gonna help.
I mean, the worker is great. The ranchero is the downside.
Yeah.
But like you always have to go granary, and you always like try to grow on it.
Not to mention, I think the other bad thing about the civ is like the windmills aren't cheaper. So you need to have a pretty good game to even afford to build them. Obviously, when you build
I mean,
them,
you
your game's
always
gonna be
you
great.
are always
You
building
have to build them.
but-
That's the problem. Is you have to build them, but they're, windmills are expensive buildings. They're 167 hammers.
Yes.
So
You just manage your science well, and you bulb into economics, right? Instead of bulbing into
Yeah,
industrial.
you're right. I was gonna say, Kuba, it could be a weird timing where if your scientist is wrong, then like you want to get your facts up because you maybe you want to get auto. You don't want to miss out on an ideology.
Well, no, but then you just do that right, and you bulb into economics and
yeah,
5-turn tech industrial, and you build your windmills in that window, right?
correct. You just need to play it correctly.
So,
Correct.
like if you set it up well, it's not a problem.
I believe in Mexico in general, but I think they lack the consistency that I would look for in a Civ I play in the tourney.
I mean, the other big problem is, the city-state reveal is okay, but the problem is that the tribute stuff doesn't scale anymore. I mean, I know it was like, Cuba definitely remembers this, but Mexico used to be probably like a top 5 civ, because you could consistently just tribute everything because they would give you the same bonuses that Golden Horde currently gets. So it was really easy to tribute things. You would get a spear upgrade. If you got a spear upgrade, you could tribute 3 CS at the same time, for probably like 25 turns. So you'd have 3 allies by like turn 15. There was a game, I think what Braxis played. maybe it was Spencer. I don't remember who. They finished trad by 34, and they didn't build Oracle because they got 3 culture CS like off the rip, and they just that's not fair. That's just not fair. So Mexico has insane high roll potential, but again, I think the UA is pretty much a nothing UA now. It's literally just the worker. The city state stuff does not matter. You can't build enough units to justify doing it because if the CS builds a unit or it builds a wall, doesn't work anymore. There's an honor player, doesn't work anymore. So it's like one of those things where even if you get lucky and you get the spear, you get the bonus for a little bit. It's going to feel pretty good. But if it's a flat land, it'll stay around. But as soon as it builds a single unit, you're out of luck. Not to mention that city state's something that you need to steal from oftentimes.
It is tournament, so sometimes you will just like have an army sitting there, and you will just like use the bonus to ally city state.
You mean like in the late game?
Or like in the mid game where some monkey is going crossbows next to you, and
that's fair. But again, it's one of those things where it's like you get some sort of benefit for fucking your game, but you still fucked your game.
Yeah. But like that's gonna happen.
And it'll happen. Again, I don't think this is anything better than low B. I think it's probably like a C tier save. Like I don't know if I pick it over a UBIS or Austria. So
yeah, it's a C tier.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, Nabatea on the come up lately.
Yeah, with that Solex vid that came out.
I also had a crazy game as Nabatea. Like right before his game. I think the Civ's really good. I think with the new Ruins stuff, it's like so what's interesting is so the upgrade rune is now it was never really good on archers unless you're archering something like on a scout. So this actually can't get the upgrade rune. It also can't get the movement increase rune. So if you think about it, there's not a lot of options left, right? You can get
it.
That's a good point.
What?
Actually, Faith is not available.
Faith's not available either. So it's map, pop, gold, tech, improvement, or expansion, right?
Yeah. Improvement's also not available.
And improvement's not available early. So you actually have a pretty low pool of stuff you can get. It actually makes... Even with more rune options, it actually makes it more consistent than it was before. I will say you can still get hard fucked by not having like a good steal. Like it's just like a risk you take. But you're going to have enough gold to probably get a worker by most games, even on lib. So I don't know, probably something to consider. Also, I will say it makes it is desert bias, which sucks, but the freshwater farms at math is really good because if you're playing lib, it lets you go workshops first and not really care. Then you can go workshops right into Boro, and you're going to feel really, really good. So
that is very nice for tourney.
It's a food civ though. Like it's a food civ with tempo bonuses, so it definitely can't be S.
Yep. I mean, absolutely. I don't think it's S. Probably high B, like maybe low A. But
I don't think it's
I'm down for B. Yeah, it's a lot of food.
You gotta have workers though. For the time you get to math.
But top of B is fine.
I mean, yeah, Cushy, you're right. No, absolutely. And I mean, that's just something. I feel like on average you have like 2 to 3 CS that you can steal from a game. Probably 2 on average. And it's likely one of those 2 is going to be able to get stolen from. Obviously, there's some circumstances where that's just not going to happen and you're just shit out of luck. But
yeah, it's harder with a warrior.
Yeah. Netherlands. I think this is straight A.
It's a great civ.
I think that's always been one of the better coastals for years.
Knights, you want to comment? You were talking about the civ earlier.
No, I'm just gonna say it's like generically good civ.
I don't know how to play the civ at all. So, Kuba, maybe you want to talk about Normandy?
Do I want to talk about Normandy? It has forts everywhere. It has their cities have more strengths. It's more annoying to attack it. It has combat bonuses outside. Like it's It's actually a pretty annoying and anti-lore. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't really know what to think of it in terms of putting it on this tier list. Like, it has combat bonuses. It has to be good, right?
Outside of friendly territory, though.
Well, inside the friendly territory, it has stronger cities and it has a 50% defense improvement on half it or on a third of its tiles.
It's actually 25.
Oh, is it only 25?
Yeah.
Did that get
Yeah,
nerfed?
25.
I guess so. No. Oh, and it has the unit. The unit's kind of BS.
You get a
It's-
long sword at metal casting.
Yeah, it's not Denmark, but it's kind of like Denmark.
Comes with shock.
Yeah, but you're trying to upgrade into it most of the time.
Yeah, but you can always upgrade into it. Like you can always build swords and upgrade into it.
No, but I'm saying like it wouldn't come with shock.
Oh, the shock.
Yeah.
It was so funny. The last tourney, Arv just got annihilated by the Civ because he just didn't realize it had the UU. It was so funny.
I mean, like the Civ is. I think the Civ is strong. I might even want to put it in A because like,
What?
it's a lot of combat stuff.
I think
Wow.
Galfat unironically thinks the Civ is like A or S tier for tourney.
Well, isn't Galfad the big longsword and Trev guy? So
Yeah.
this is up his alley.
I mean,
That's
I personally don't like the Civ.
I hate this Civ. This is like I'd rather pick Cuba or Byzantium. Easily. I hate this
Yeah.
Civ. So I don't know how to rank it.
I'm with Ryan on this one.
I think it's very playstyle dependent. I would put it in C, but I know some people think it's like A or S.
Thor?
I'm not a fan.
C it is.
You guys are crazy.
I would put it in D, but like it is playstyle dependent, so it's better for some people.
I don't know. I'm just thinking that if my neighbor is playing Normandy, I am kind of scared.
No, of
Yeah,
course,
they're
I
gonna
would-
monkey into me, but it's the same thing for like. I think it's just like worse than Goth in that point.
and it's a very holdable like monkey into you attack. It's just annoying.
Norway.
I think it's probably the second worst coastal.
Never played them actually, so don't know.
Yeah, it's pretty bad now. I would say it's either D or C. C
I think
minus.
it's.
at
I don't
best.
think it's D. I think it's like C.
I think there's only one coastal that goes below this.
Yeah, we could just.
Is there
put
only
it
one
there.
in D tier?
We can put it.
Well,
there.
you just have to high roll the tundra. It's an RNG.
No, it's
Civ.
not though. It's like it's Jerusalem in some ways.
Like sure, some consistency with the faith from coastal resource.
I mean, that's a
I
big
don't
deal.
want- I don't want to put the UAE there.
I don't think it's a
I-
good Civ, man.
Yeah,
You
it's
want a
pretty-
separate tier below?
It's pretty bad now with melee coastal changes. I used
I
to
mean,
love killing people with the boat. It was 10 move with Explo and GLH. It's a fucking 10 move privateer. It's nuts.
I mean, apparently, like building a bunch of units and putting them in the water is good for your gold, and you can do that. I
Yeah.
don't know what to.
Yeah,
Don't
it
they
is.
give
That
experience
is
as
true.
well? Don't they give experience
back.
as well?
Yeah, it does give experience.
The
It's like
experience is so
you don't get punished from having standing army, but it's in the water, so
Yeah, that's not where you want your RB, which is my problem.
yeah.
So it doesn't work on only your trade routes, by the way. For whatever that could be.
What the fuck?
I mean, it is nice when you have like dead production time, where like you don't have that much good stuff to build.
Yeah, I mean, Morena had Kel build like 40 scouts or something like that, and he was making a shitload of money. So it's a thing. It's just weird. I just don't think it's good.
Yeah.
Like if I'm throwing my units, like okay, first of all, also, I mean this goes without saying, but if I have to keep a unit in there for 30 turns for it to get 30 XP, that's
Oh, no,
not a
the
big deal.
promotion- The promotions are irrelevant.
Yeah,
Don't-
it's just
don't think
doesn't
of that
matter.
XP.
I don't know. I mean the unit's scary. It's pretty good, but it requires you to have a good start. Oh, and by the way, your desert bias.
Oh,
Yeah,
are you?
I
Ooh,
would
thought it
put their
just
unit-
coast prize, no?
What?
Isn't it just coast bias, or is that wrong?
I'm pretty sure it's desert, but I could check.
thought you could
I
only
would
have
put their
coast-
unit up there with the like
No, you're right.
unstoppable
Okay,
attacks.
why did I
though.
think it was desert? I mean, I guess they have the Burj, which is like a desert thing. I've just seen the Civ be in
I-
desert a lot. I guess.
Somebody tried to convince me that the UAE frigate attack is unstoppable, and then I started naming civs that were in the tournament.
It's far from unstoppable because you can't upgrade privateers.
Yeah, and it's also like a lot of these other civs in the tournament are better. Maybe we should leave it in D.
All right.
That's fair, but at least in my experience, I have never seen a committed Kasami Raider push fail. Like who Tom killed Molly with it in the last tournament finals. Spencer has killed me on it when I knew the attack was coming for like 20 turns and built a million ships. It trades so effectively.
I know. I'd much rather have a Sea Beggar or Phoenicia.
Sea beggars are
hammer.
kind of shit. I'm not gonna lie. They're not that good anymore.
I
The
know.
thing about the Raiders is that they're like 20% cheaper, and then they also have 2 more moves. So
Yeah, I mean the Raiders are good, but like your civs kind of shit. So
yeah, I know. I agree. All right, Palmyra. This is probably one of my favorite civs in the whole thing, so I won't go first. Who wants to go first?
Incredible Civ. The flexibility. Oh my god, such a good Civ. The only thing that has going against it is desert bias.
Yep.
I would say the biggest thing against it is you're probably going to have top demos. So I don't know if that is something you want, but it's good.
wait, why would you have top demos?
You just always have top demos on this Civ. Like if you can play Liberty, you just have a watermill in every city and like a billion tiles to work, and it's good.
Wait, Kuba, are you a based Palmyra hater?
Oh, I am a Palmyra hater. Yeah.
Yo,
You guys
let's
are
go.
just stupid.
Yeah, you're wrong.
You know, I've been coming around to the Civ a little bit, but I still don't think very highly of it.
Just the fact that it allows you to settle your land in a way that no other Civ can settle their land effectively puts it way above any other Civ to me here.
In
Like,
a
I would
sim
put this
context,
middle
it is,
A for sure.
yeah, that sounds about right. It has insane sim bonuses, and the unit's like not bad either.
Unit's great for defense.
Yeah, like no one wants to push you at that time.
I'd personally pick every single A tier civ over it, but
I would pick it over most of them, except for like Argentina and Bulgaria and China.
I
Yeah, I'd put
probably
it
wouldn't pick
after China.
Palmyra because I'm not a fan. I don't know. I think it belongs in B.
I mean,
say B or
you
D.
guys can be wrong. That's fine.
B.
I think B is
Phoenicia.
reasonable.
I know this is gonna sound troll, but I've done it 3 times now, and every game's been really good. I'm telling you,
Oh, yeah.
Wide Piety Sacred Sites Phoenicia is genuinely good.
Oh, God.
I swear to God, it's actually
No.
good. I'm not
Have you-
kidding. It's actually
Okay.
good.
Right. Have you tried playing Phoenicia on any other build?
No.
You
Right,
see,
this Civ-
it might be Phoenicia that's good, not the other stuff.
This civ is so good on Liberty. It's insane.
Yeah, because you're already incentivized to be waiting a little bit for building settlers and settling, so you can get that tech to optics quite quickly, and then boom, you're basically Philippines on all of your cities.
This is easily one of the most underrated civs right now. IMO.
Where would you
Yeah,
put
this
it?
is great.
I think it's A, probably.
I think A.
Yeah, I think they're really good.
Poland.
A.
Really? I think it's like B.
Policies are great.
Policies
Culture.
are okay.
Cheaper is awesome. I know, and having the extra XP on horses, which does include cavalry, and having the unit, and having money, right? Like
Yeah.
money
No,
is
no, no,
really,
no,
really,
for sure.
really strong resource in these games.
All of their stuff just seems kind of tourney suited
Yeah.
to me.
A.
Okay.
Unique ability's great as well.
I'm not voting. All right. I just don't think the unit's that good. But I know that's not what we're talking about.
Yeah, but the stable is really
Yeah,
good.
no, I know. The stable, yeah.
A lot of civs don't have great units.
Prussia.
Who is it who's like a big defender of this Miota?
That's probably
It's-
Miota.
It's the
Yeah.
Russian players, I think.
No, Solex
Yeah.
doesn't like it.
Miota's a big believer. I don't really know.
I think L like loves this Civ.
So the Civ only really shines once you get to that triple promo, though, right?
Yeah.
The first two promos are basically equivalent of just regular promos. And then it does
It
have the
has a-
nice sim benefit of the no coal factory, so you are always guaranteed to be building your factories as soon as you've checked industrialization, so that's pretty nice.
And it's cheap, right? I think it's like significantly
Yeah, they're like
cheaper.
15% cheaper or 20% cheaper.
I mean, these guys are pretty like good. The promotions are good. I can't justify putting them in A, for instance.
No, this
I
is
don't
like a
think
C tier Civ to me, dude.
that sounds about right.
I mean, they have a tiny bit of early game bonus.
You're
right?
joking.
Like,
That's a nothing
The-
bonus.
The trade route thing, like,
it's like 2 food per trader. It's not that bad.
You're saying the
Mm.
whole Civ is 6 food.
I mean,
6
that's
food
like
until
Ukraine,
Renaissance.
right?
That's the whole Civ.
it's not like nothing, but their sim bonuses are even worse than like B tier Civs with sim bonuses, like
Yeah,
Gods.
no, but
Hungary.
it has great late game, right? Like,
Comparative Civ to Manchuria, like what do you want to be warring with?
Manchu.
I'd rather be a Manchu for sure.
yeah, I mean, obviously.
Okay,
Manchu,
then what
like,
are we saying?
So, like if they're
Manchu's last in B.
yeah.
Well, you put it last in B, which I strongly disagree with.
Well,
but...
you're wrong. These aren't not ordered for the most part. Some of them are. I don't know. Okay.
If you disagree with it, it's unordered. If you agree with it, it's ordered.
Exactly. Thank you. Rome. I mean, not Rome. Romania.
I'm going to be a champion for Romania here. This is actually a really underrated and solid Civ. The Garden's a decent sim building, and it has a combat bonus that I think everyone forgets about.
Yeah, the UA says your units are 10% stronger because most of the units are wounded. So, yeah, that's really good.
And this is the type of Civ that can really excel in tournament settings because it's not a scary Civ. People aren't looking at you to be like, oh, this guy's going to have some crazy game that we need to stop early on. You can have a very solid game, build all these gardens, have that late game scaling potential, have solid war power the whole game through. I'm a big fan, but like they're not super, super strong. I'd say high B.
Yeah, I wanted an A. I like 10% combat bonus is a lot.
Yeah, those are both good points. I don't know if I put them in A, but they're kind of good.
They also got the Columbia. They inherited the Columbia bonus recently, which is actually pretty good.
Actually, 10% combat bonus really is a lot.
Yeah, it's like Defender.
You
Okay,
just, you
it's
just have
not
elite
Defender,
forces on
but
your
it's-
units. It's
Yeah, it's
incredible,
elite.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like it's a crazy number if you think about it. And they have the extra culture in Golden Age, right?
I'm
So
torn
what?
between A or B. I'll just
Yeah,
hurt you
I
guys.
could see them. I could see them being low A, maybe.
I think they're firm B. The Gatling gun is so expensive. Like,
We
yeah,
weren't
yeah.
even talking about. the
I
Gatling
know,
gun.
I know.
About the advantage here.
I know. But
Like Vanators are like they're a decent UU.
they're good.
I don't know. Normally, I'd put them like in C, dude. But like the combat bonus seems like it matters.
All right. I mean, the garden not being on freshwater also is pretty good.
Yeah, that matters too.
Not in order, by the way. Russia.
So is this a S tier Civ because it's broken, or is it a D tier Civ because it's always going to be banned?
That really is the question. But replace banned with teamed.
Or teamed, yeah, true.
Wait, is it an S tier Civ?
Yes.
We did pull Belgium in A, right? Like
I think
I
Belgium's
wasn't.
better than
I
Russia,
wasn't
man.
here for that. I never. would've
Belgium's better than
done
Russia.
I'm
I just wanna-
inclined to agree.
Yeah, I agree with that.
More consistent bonus on its hammers for sure.
I just want to comment. This Civ has a second part of its UA where it says it gets double uranium, which is sometimes extremely game changing.
And it has mini Stonehenge built into the barracks, which is often overlooked as well.
Yeah, because it's shit.
That
Not
is
if you're on honor.
Oh my god, I hate that
You're
argument
gonna
That's
step
a
up
really-
so much. You know how many
that's a
times
really
I played against
late
Honor
in
Russia? Ever. You know how many times I played against Honor Russia?
that
Once.
bonus is really late and niche for it to be relevant. But the hammers are good. Yeah, I mean they're worse than Belgium, right? I'd put them maybe by Bulgaria.
I just feel like the Civ's gonna get you teamed.
Yeah, I mean
Not
if we're
even because
factoring
you're
that-
strong, but just because you're Russia.
That's true, but y'all put Belgium and Argentina really high, and they'll accomplish that.
Yeah, but they aren't. There's not as much of a thing attached to them. Does that make sense?
I mean, how many Civs are going to be in S? Because I don't see any of these other Civs making it to S.
I don't either.
So,
do
are we
wanna-
going to end up moving some A Civs up to S? Or
I mean, I'm fine doing this.
I hate doing this. I hate both of these Civs.
okay, I don't
What?
think
That's
I think
Armenia.
the Civs
What's
to the right of those Civs could go up there.
Sorry, what's the lion civ? What icon is that?
Brunei.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
think, like, the
genuinely,
three
like
are-
if we're gonna put another one up there, I think Armenia is the Civ.
I agree.
I'm more inclined to put Belgium over Armenia there.
We'll put them both
I
I would
there.
definitely put Belgium,
I
Argentina,
think-
Russia, Bulgaria.
I don't think we understand yet like how much this map change has buffed our that civ.
We spent like 5 minutes talking about it.
Okay, fair enough.
You know, all right, let me convince you, Rai. If you put Armenia in S, that means Glosson was right.
Oh shit.
The
No,
last,
he's not. He wasn't right though. He was like right retrospectively after a map change that he didn't even call for. So like Miota made him right, which doesn't count.
Armenia always rolled like the best land in the game, but like the last game I've spectated, some 4-city trad guy had 12 mountains. And like that used to be like a Terra high roll, but it's not even that insane anymore. It happens.
I'm kind of with Thor here.
And it's not just science on those things; it's culture. It's like a shit ton of culture too. So like
Oh
that,
my
I'm
God.
guessing culture is like why we rated whales so high in
Deep
part, right?
of the
Because it's
devil.
scaling benefit.
Oh, for fuck's
Are we
sake.
rating Armenia?
No.
Yeah,
No!
I heard science and culture.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. We
I like
already
the
rated
beer.
Armenia.
I like the
That's
best here. What
We
do you
already
think?
rated it. It's fine. It's done.
That's where Armenia belongs, yes.
Austin?
We're trying to decide, Glosson, if we should move Belgium, Argentina, Russia up.
Probably. I mean, I think Russia.
It seems correct only because like there's a huge step off like between Russia and the other things below it. I think.
Well, I think Russia because I mean, this is for tournament, right?
Yep.
One of the things that Russia lets you do that like most civs don't let you do is it just gives you a ton of hammers if you're just gonna kill someone in classical.
Well, that's why Goths is in B, though.
Yeah, but Goths you need to like make the improvement. Russia, you can plant a city on a horse and queue a chariot.
Okay, we're not playing Scrim.
I don't know. We might need an A+ tier.
That's a good idea. We could do an A+ tier.
And that tier is just like Argentina, Belgium, Russia, I guess.
What color should we make it? Maybe blue.
Move Armenia down.
No,
there.
I think if Denmark's in there, Armenia has to be an S tier.
I don't think Armenia is anywhere near close Denmark and Wales.
It's so much science.
I don't
The
know,
thing
man.
about Armenia,
Kuba,
though-
like, have you played? Like, the map is kind of crazy. Like, Thor's right.
But
It's
no,
a
I've
ton of
seen
mountains.
it, but you just don't do stuff until medieval, right?
The thing is, it's
Kuba's
not.
No,
most
no.
advanced year on the new patch, actually.
In classical, you like have a really high tempo start with the land always.
You also have a very good unit for getting slammed.
No, but Kuba made the point
No.
that you can't build it, and he's right.
Yeah, it costs 80 hammers. How do you build it?
Yeah, the unit,
Whoa.
like, I got slammed by Chukanews the other day, and I spammed a bunch of those units, and then I realized it was just too hammer expensive to, like, be good.
Yeah, they're a little bit awkward.
I don't know. The land and the terrain changes. It's good. Look, can we rate Scotland?
Yeah. I think the Civ is so shit, but
That fucking sucks.
I will let Kuba make his point about the
Wait,
unit.
the unit though. The unit's insane.
I'm gonna let like Four and Luca, or maybe somebody else make the point for me about the unit.
Okay, I've slammed people with this unit a lot, and they just die no matter what, and they can't do anything to stop it.
If it's an appropriate speed, but if a player is prepared and has muskets and forts, they get completely blanked.
100%.
Because again, it suffers the same problem that any non-cycling unit does. Is you have how wide is your front in any given war? 6-7 tiles. You get 6 to 7 slams, and then you're done. And it's impossible to make progress if against a prepared player.
They also non-negligibly require iron, which can screw you over.
It's actually a
that is
good
You
point.
very rarely have more than 6. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes like I've had to borrow iron for this attack. That is a
Like,
very good point.
You're either capped at 6 or 12, which is not really the place you want to be on a unit that kind of depends on having
Yeah.
a lot of them.
Really, neither of those numbers are good. You want like 20.
Yeah.
I mean, but they are very strong. Like you can do this attack very fast if you're having like a good game. Like it can come deceptively fast, like fast enough that like somebody being prepared, like they just might not be.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. You can time it for the first scientist.
The unit is like a very mid unit, and we didn't talk about mid units much.
It is capable of doing a very silly, 6 city liberty, fast science messenger, and then you just all of a sudden show up on someone's borders with this unit, and it could be very unstoppable. But that only kills one person.
And
Yeah,
also,
and
like,
you also don't
Or
want to
other
do that.
people.
That sounds like
and
a
also,
bad
like,
idea.
it's so telegraphed too, right? Like,
It is. It's
it's the
telegraph.
same problem that like
You can hide it decently.
Yeah, I think
we
the
did
the
see
Civ-
our-
Guys, we are spending
absolutely
so long
destroyed by
talking
that.
about a unit
Okay.
that kind of sucks.
Well, all right. So like the unit can be shut down by just lacking iron, right? And that's the best part about the Civ. The Sim bonuses are trash.
No, I think the Civ has 33% GP gen and cap, and I think that's better
like-
than the 4 Civs in D
The U-
tier.
The unit
Yeah.
is good.
Yeah, I don't think.
it's not D.
It's not D tier.
I don't know.
Yeah, and
It's
I
like-
don't
No,
think
definitely
we
not
can.
good.
Somewhere next
Like
to
better, it's better than Korea. Oh, that's way better than Korea, I'd say.
It's not D tier, but it's not much better than D tier. Also,
Like,
how
yeah.
did Australia end up in C?
Yeah, I was wondering that too.
Where do you think it belongs?
Thor.
Like at least B, right?
Yeah, it's at
You
least
like
the workers.
I
in
don't
You like
think
C.
so.
Bulgaria, right?
I do.
I think
yeah.
Gil was better than Australia.
Like think about like Scotland's bonus. You get 2 production, science, culture from Writers, Artists, Musicians Guild. Like
Yeah,
that's basically as good as
Yeah,
Bulgaria's
but
bonus.
Bulgaria has a cheap as fuck granary.
Bulgaria
Yeah,
is.
I'm-
way faster. On
I'm
Bulgaria.
not saying it's anywhere near Bulgaria, but
By the way, Knights, remember you're talking to like the biggest garden believer ever, and like I don't think Scotland's that good.
I don't think they're that good either. But I think
No, okay. It's
like-
not like it's not.
I would put
negative.
them like high C.
Sumeria is an interesting Civ.
I like them.
I don't know what to think of them. I think like they're solid. They're nothing special.
Lots of scaling on the temple if you can
They're-
survive.
They're
Like
also
great Liberty Civ.
they're very good on Liberty. Yeah.
The spear is pretty decent for your early game. It's just an overall okay Civ. Nothing crazy special, but definitely not bad.
There's a serious problem with Samaria, which is that it's such a boring civ that you fall asleep at the computer.
I don't think that's
Actually,
true.
I saw a really cool build that Abraxas did the other day where he leveraged the extra culture off of drama and poetry and was doing a lib into piety 1, finished lib, and then he had indulgences in all of his cities turn 60 while having almost all of lib and piety finished. It was a shocking amount of culture that he was able to push policies with.
I just enjoy shoving like monuments back in my build queue and still finishing lib first.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's a weird Civ. I think it's probably like C or something.
I was gonna say low B.
I
They're
don't believe in
they're
this
about
Civ.
as
Let's
they're as
see.
good as Hungary, roughly.
I think this is a civ that would get designed for WeView when we run out of ideas.
Dude, I'm gonna say that I think Hungary is better than this.
Really? Holy shit. That's
you
not a
probably-
vote
This
of
is
confidence. I
boring as-
don't know what it is.
Dude, this Civ is boring as shit and it's not that great.
Okay, Sweden. I will let someone who actually wants to make the point about the wide piety shit go, but in general, I don't think it's very good.
It's a strong
it's one of
build,
those
but it's not a tournament build.
Yeah, you just need to be able to survive, and people aren't going to let you survive.
And they're gonna kill the CS.
It's such a loot pinata build. Like, here, come get this nice, lovely religion that's like geared towards generating a bunch of profits and stuff. And yeah, your profits don't get planted, but still, like, I'm not a believer.
You know what's useless? March on a fucking musket. Like, who thought that'd be helpful for anything?
Hey, when you're swapping muskets, and
Yeah,
swords,
cool. I
you
get
do
10 health after I swap.
20. It's 20. This is in your borders.
Okay, fair enough. A+.
Yeah, true. All right, good point. Yep. I will say
Hey,
the Ironworks is actually pretty good, but kind of useless.
Yeah. How much do we value the ironworks in the region?
D tier.
There's no way.
And
it's
it has
not
free
good.
leaning, right?
This is like the same thing as Scotland.
I think you're underrating the free leaning bonus it has. Like this Civ can just play a reasonable trad game, build that
This Civ
ironworks, and
is
have
fire.
good demos.
that keeps them.
It's at least B tier for sure.
No way. No, this is just worse than Austria.
Yeah, I would never play this over Austria in a billion years.
I don't know. This Civ is just Austria of different colors to me.
No, Austria is so much cooler than this Civ. You're just
Way cooler.
wrong.
Well, yeah, but in terms of power level, it's just Austria of different colors.
You're wrong. Okay, Switzerland. I don't know how to rate this Civ because like part of their bonus is that they're really aggressive, but they're also not.
And then there's the tourism building.
And
which
there's
got
the
better
tourism
on
build
the
that I keep trying to make
It-
work that will never fucking work.
It
Maybe.
won a tournament game.
What?
It won a tournament game.
Tourism did?
No, ski resorts tourism.
Arv on fucking Switzerland won a game, yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, I mean it's a good Civ. It's pretty versatile. I mean it's just I feel like it's always a little bit lacking whenever I've played it.
It's not a good Civ. It's a terrible Civ. You have
Okay.
to work merchant slots to get something out of it.
And they also don't provide gold. Like that's such a meme. You know? It's like actually such a meme.
Yeah. I mean, do you want to put it in C or are we shoving it down to D? Because I don't believe in this Civ at all.
Glosson, do you have an opinion?
No, I'm working again. I just got a message from my boss.
Luca?
Well, I died to the last time I saw this Civ, so
Okay,
I
well-
think it's reasonably strong.
Yeah, that's fair. Thor?
I never played the Civ, and I never worry about them that much. I don't really have a strong opinion.
Keep that in mind for when we play. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
I
it's,
would put
it's
them
like
in
similar
C.
power level to Cuba, I think. They came out the same patch, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, they
Yeah.
have to be as good as Prussia, though, right? Like, I'm not saying they're great.
Yeah, that's fair.
No, Prussia has late game.
I mean, well, ski resorts are late game.
Yeah, but they're not good late game.
3 happy, 3 culture, and no maintenance, and it's half the price. That
Half the
is
price
good.
of a fucking stadium.
No, that is good though.
It's a zoo, a second zoo you can build.
It's a second zoo. That's actually big.
It's good, yeah, but like
Cuba, don't you play builds that require building zoos? Come on, man.
Let's be
I
real.
do
The
click
merchants-
my zoos before factories, not when I have ideology.
The merchant
Which
slots
these
are
are
good
at
now.
electricity.
The merchant slots. The problem is you usually work those because you need gold. They don't even give you gold.
They still give you the
They
gold.
do, right?
No,
normally.
they don't.
I
No,
thought
you
they
still get the
give you.
base
No, they
You still get the
just
regular-
he reworked it. It doesn't give gold. It only
I thought
gives
that was-
production and science.
Oh
Well,
my
thought
god,
the-
it's
the
not.
Oh,
extra.
that's kind of.
I thought
extra.
it's still.
No, it doesn't. I talked to
Subbed
Subbed about this.
Oh wow.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
know
Well,
that.
that's surely an oversight. It should
No,
still
no, no.
give the
It
base
it
gold.
used to. It used to. It got changed. It got nerfed.
Oh, so this was like one of the worst civs in the game, and I got nerfed.
Okay.
Perfect.
It's no, I don't.
I think the Civ is still better than D tier.
It just doesn't do anything. I think you
The
could
building?
put it in bottom of C.
Yeah, I mean, that's
I'm
what we're
fine
gonna
with
put
that.
it. All right,
It
Tim
just has
Rids.
it has two reasonable builds.
Timmy.
I adore this Civ, but they're not that strong.
Yep.
They're like they have a reasonable sim bonus. And
I think this is
unfortunately, it kind
solid
of
B.
pushes you to playing tall.
Yeah. This is
And
like a
the unit's relatively useless. Like it's okay on defense, but you're almost never able to
You
put
can-
together like a push with it.
You can upgrade to
it
bombers.
into bombers, which is like kind of cool and something that the Civ can do that no one else can do. So there's
They-
like,
There's also
but-
one additional.
yeah, the one additional slot is like occasionally relevant.
I was gonna argue that the unit's bullshit, and I don't want to crossbow this civ because the unit's bullshit.
It doesn't do that much against crossbows though.
If you,
Oh,
I
no,
mean,
it's
double
huge.
promoted of
It's
these like
massive.
deal with Artie like incredibly well.
Dude, it shreds crossbows. What are you talking about?
I mean, what's the unit's strength?
I don't know, but
21,
it
I
destroys crossbows. I promise that.
No, it's
like-
it's 18. It's the same strength as a crossbow. It just has a promo that gives it 33% instead of 15.
Yeah, I mean, if you have armories up, but like when crossbows come, at best you've got barracks, right? And this is essentially a unit that's doing the equivalent of a melee slam, except it's doing the equivalent of a melee slam into a crossbow's range strength, not its melee strength.
Okay, but like the limiting factor with defending expos is like how many tiles you can shoot back from partially, and this
True,
just
but the
allows you
limiting
to
factor with
all of it.
attacking with expos is how many tiles you can put expos on.
No, yeah, this is not like a great offensive bonus, but it is a good defensive bonus.
I think that crossbows are like the worst timing to think about defending this with. I think it's probably better at defending Artie than it is crossbow, because the like Artie are a more valuable unit at that timing than crossbow are at their timing.
Yeah, well, it's also good
What?
at defending Artie, so like something that helps you defend against somewhat two timers.
I think it's good.
Pretty
Like
good.
it's a good unit, and I think it's relevant at crossbow timing. It's you can't push with it, obviously, but like I don't know. I've defended crossbows with this, and I've attacked with this attacked with crossbows into this unit, and it's good, but like it doesn't hold an attack on its own, right?
Yeah, I mean, no one's saying they're A tier, but like it's pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
I mean, I think the
If
Civ
you guys
belongs.
don't believe in the civ, I don't play it much, so I'll just go with that.
I'm not even a believer in the pretty. They're like
The
decent.
early culture and science is actually pretty significant. 50%
I was gonna
of your
I was
cap
gonna
really
talk about
starts to
that
stack
too.
up.
Also, just like a percent modifier, a percent production modifier, and a percent science modifier in the cap are like no joke.
production.
in the game.
That's Weavy.
production
There's
got
no
nerfed.
production.
Does
No,
it
it's
not have
entirely
production
removed,
anymore?
right? It doesn't.
No,
it does
got,
not
yeah,
have production.
I said it
bonus.
got nerfed. It doesn't exist. Like that UA
Yeah,
got
it's,
nerfed. Yeah.
Science, culture, and gold, right?
Oh, the Civ is way weaker than it used to be.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, it used to be like A+.
Yeah, I hit
Okay,
my
that's
fucking
fine.
I hit my
Plus.
lab record on this Civ.
The Civ is
Yeah.
still fine.
No, it's fine.
It's like solidly B.
Never beat that record again. Smoach.
What was the record?
99.
Holy.
Tonga.
I feel like the
So I
Civ.
hate this Civ only because you know you have shit land turn 0 when you load in.
I feel like the Civ is just like the most solidly A tier.
I think it's so good now. Like with
Oh,
the
with the
new
fish
fishies,
Oh, you
Oh
might
yeah,
be
the
right.
Civ must be a lot
Might be
stronger
right.
now.
I think it's
I was gonna rate it a lot lower, but the changes about this tremendously.
Yeah, it means you can grief your cities for those granary settles and have much more fish and be okay with it.
yeah. And Knights is with me. Literally, the only thing that matters is the coastal resources. That's it.
The Civ is so good when you have the right land for it.
Yeah.
If you don't, your game will still be fine.
I will say the
Like
one
I said-
downside that most people don't think about is if you settle those cities, you are begging to die. Like, to a coastal player, it is so easy to kill you.
Well, to a coastal player.
Well, that's what I'm
but you're
saying.
more annoying to be killed from it.
Oh,
inland
yeah, you're
player.
like impossible to die inland.
The Civ also like can fix bad land sometimes.
Yeah.
I think it belongs somewhere in A.
Yeah, A tier for sure.
I think low A.
I think it's like a little bit high.
I would rather play the Netherlands, probably.
Yeah.
I definitely would. Yeah.
Over Phoenicia?
Wait, how
Uh,
did China end up that high?
These guys really like China.
Tournament Civ.
Not
Tournament Civ, Lawson. Think
Okay,
about the
War Civ
ridiculous
and Tournament
bonuses they
Civ
have
are
for
not the
war.
same thing.
That's, yeah, well,
No,
it's the general bonus.
The
I
general
mean, to some
bonus
extent,
is real,
yeah,
but you
yeah,
have to make it to the point in the game where the general bonus matters, and China does literally nothing for you.
It gets you gold.
what
It
do you mean?
makes you
Cheap
scary.
library? Has gold.
The library is not even cheap. It's still 50 hammers,
Pretty
right?
sure it's the same amount of hammers.
General bonus pops up the moment, like 2 turns after you start a war, maybe. Maybe 0
Like,
if
you
you
get
take
a
it in
general,
one turn.
like a turn or two into the war. Yeah. what
I'm
Max is
not
saying.
convinced
It's
that
crazy.
Chuko News are better than just regular crossbows.
All right,
They-
you
they
are
are.
stupid.
They-
You need to
what do
play
you
against
talking about?
Conrad. Conrad would rank
Don't.
this Civ as S.
Okay,
Someone mute that. man.
counterpoint. I'm
I
not
was-
convinced. I'm not
okay.
convinced that a regular player with Chuko News would do better than with crossbows.
This is why
No,
we can't have
Chukonos
conversations
are like
with
really
Glosson.
easy to
You know,
use.
actually, the more I think about it, AD is like Glosson, but on some roids. Do you know what I'm talking about?
yeah, just the hot one after another.
And
Is this the COD guy?
yeah, this is the
Yes.
COD guy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be caught dead playing COD.
That's not the fucking
That's not the
point at all. Like that. I like how that's what you focus on. Okay. Last two. Ukraine.
Solid Civ, lots of gold, decent sim bonus.
I
Nothing
like
crazy though.
Ukraine.
They're not. I'm not like, super excited to play Ukraine. But I'm
Tachanka
pretty happy.
Like
with
a
suck.
B
Ukraine.
tier.
Yeah,
the
Tachankas are
units
not
pretty
a
useless.
thing. Fortunately, Gatling guns are also not a unit, so we're good there.
I mean, the sim
But this
bonuses are
Civ
real.
generates an obscene amount of gold.
I don't think you can put the Civ above Gauls in like.
I wouldn't put it above Timurids.
I think you can put it above Timurids. Like the wheat high roll is real.
I'm not a believer in this.
I mean, if you're playing a tournament game and you have a bunch of cities because you've killed some garbage and this garbage.
I mean,
has
yeah,
market,
your late game is actually could be nice because of the gold. Like yeah, you're right, 100%.
and you do have some amount of tempo with the wheat maze stuff.
And the Mazo effect, like one of the holes that you have on wide is like not just gold generation in general, but like an acute need for gold going into a war, and the Civ does solve that problem.
Okay, yeah, they're not bad.
All right,
They're not
bad.
you've convinced me. Where would you put them, Glosson?
I'd say mid B.
Yeah,
For
I think
me.
they're like below Carthage, maybe.
Do you like our Oman placement?
I do. I don't think it should be that high because if you click Oman, everyone knows that you're gonna go frigate them. Like I love that Civ, but I can tell you right now, if someone clicks Oman, that's just an announcement in blaring like headlights. I'm going frigates.
Yeah.
No, but nobody's gonna want to play Coast with you.
That's not a good thing. Yeah. Anyway,
Okay. You want to talk about it, Glosson?
I mean,
this is one of
I
your
love
babies.
Vietnam. It is one of my favorite Civs to play. The Civ is a C tier Civ.
I mean,
Okay.
this Civ is an S when you hit. When you
Really,
hit.
I was gonna say.
I'm not even convinced it is.
It is.
It's free
No,
one
we-
tile.
No, it has the Iroquois. It has the Iroquois thing where, like, if you hit, your land is like you don't only not only have a good game, but your land's also defensive. as fuck.
True, but like the
Yeah,
difference.
and your scout
That's
movement
actually really
early game is
It is really
crazy
nice
when you
percentage
high
of
roll.
your land.
You get like twice the number of ruins that you normally would otherwise when you get that
I
giant
Yeah, the
spot.
would-
movement is real. It's
I
still a
want
C
to
tier
put
Civ.
them on A tier, but I know that's totally wrong. But they're not C tier.
It's so wrong. The Civ is a C
With-
tier
I-
Civ.
I've never had a
With
bad
the-
game on the Civ. Even,
I
like, for
only
some
have
reason-
bad games on this Civ. And I win them all. They're all bad.
really like.
The wetlands
I've had
bias-
a single
the wetlands
marsh
bias
tile.
is the
I've had
lowest
one.
The wetlands
I
bias
think-
is the lowest rank bias in like of all the biases, and half the time you miss because it drags you into floodplains.
Yeah,
I think with the
exactly, Lawson.
Even when you
With
don't
the-
get land, like being able to scout faster through like random jungle and marsh or whatever,
Jungle
or
seems
marsh,
good.
it's good.
I think with the intention that we are making this tier list, I think this is the Civ that is most likely to get you a win when you.
Why?
Because the high roll is so defensive. Like how do
That's
you
a really good
attack
point.
into that garbage?
Wait, hold
It's
on.
all
I-
marsh and
Did he
jungle.
ever fix the Viet Cong?
Yeah, the Viet Cong
Yeah, they
don't
work
get
now.
flame bugged.
They do?
And they
They
are-
don't
they're-
get one
they're
shot by
MPs.
bombers?
Yeah, they don't get one shot by bombers. Supposedly.
I
Allegedly.
still don't know how good the unit is.
The unit's pretty good.
I've only ever attacked into it and not been attacking with it, and it just crumples to the other units of
The
the
unit's good, but it's not really a defensive unit, which is like kind of awkward for an infantry. But to be fair, it's exactly good it's exactly as good as an infantry on defense.
Yeah, it's
mean, it
not
sounds-
really
'Cause it
an
is an
offensive unit
infantry.
because It's an infantry, right?
It sounds
Actually,
good
it's
for attack
slightly
when
better
attack.
than an infantry on defense. It has 3 move.
It's cheaper, no?
Oh yeah, I think it is.
Does this
cheaper, too.
15% on jungle combat bonus stack with forts?
Yes.
Probably.
It's pretty
Yeah.
good.
It does.
Yeah, and it has a bonus on marsh, so like when you're standing in the marsh, you are defensive.
I like this Civ quite a lot. It's very fun to play. I would put it in C tier, but I think there's a reasonable argument for B tier.
I mean, for us, it's like a D tier Civ, right? But I think
Yeah.
for
I think for the
an
average player,
average tournament player, it might be an A tier Civ.
There's
Yeah,
no
it'll
way
get you
it's
wins.
A. But we can get behind B.
Yeah, if you have like a 10% chance to win the lobby going into it, clicking Vietnam is a pretty good idea.
yep, you increase the variance.
Yeah, I guess so. All right. I mean, I'm happy with this.
Move Armenia down.
Nope.
No, you're wrong.
New map favors
Can we
Armenia
have
so much.
Palmyra at the bottom of A?
No.
Just because I want to say that the last Civ of every tier should be moved one down.
No. If anything, Palmyra needs to be moved up.
Yep.
I think Egypt's overrated.
Yep.
It's really good though.
I know
It's
it's
too
good.
happy for City.
It
But
does
I would rather play
really go to
Iroquois
temple.
if you guys are right about your map stuff. Also,
Yeah,
I
I
do think
mean-
China's a bit overrated. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
There's no way
Yeah,
China
It's
should be
an
where
A,
it is.
but it's not that high an A.
I agree too.
I don't think China's in like. I don't know. I'm not a believer in this. I know it's very good at fighting, but like you'd still need to have a functional game, and China does nothing.
It might even be top of B. Let's be
you
honest.
don't need a functional game to kill someone with Chikunus.
You need a. Okay, realistically, you don't need a functional game. RBS has demonstrated that.
I think we did Israel a little dirty here, but nobody else believes in them, so I can't make the case alone.
Nope. no one.
Israel's great. You just tribute out your NC.
Yes, thank you.
God, that's
I'm not being
Thor,
serious.
you weren't even saying that.
I'm not being serious.
You literally didn't even say that, Thor. You didn't mention that a single time.
It's very easy to come up with 300 gold, bro. That's not that much.
You literally just said,
Right.
yeah, you contribute it. Like, what the fuck? That's you
No,
just
you
lied.
You should not try to do that in a tournament game. I do think Australia
Alright.
should be in B.
All right, they're bad, but I like them. Fine.
Okay,
Okay,
good. I'm glad we got
also,
there.
I have to defend the Australia worker for Medic. Medic is insane in
Yeah,
tournament.
how did Australia?
Medic
beat
is
them?
insane.
All right, do you want to move it up to B?
Yes, very much.
No, the worker is the entire Civ.
But it's really good.
It's
and
a
also,
really good worker.
Okay, you
might-
guys, never mind. It's going back down. Fuck you guys.
It's free pants. It's not just the.
it's free
not just the
pants too,
worker.
right? Exactly.
No, it's not. It is not free panth.
Free.
It is not free panth.
Fine, but it's
You guys are
probable-
crazy if you think that's free panth.
It's likely first Panth.
It's
right?
not free Panth.
It's
but
not
it is-
likely first Panth either.
It's not
So-
free Panth, but it is sometimes free
All right,
religion.
if that's true,
What?
Well, sometimes you have a wonder, and then it gets
Yeah,
boss
but
fight.
like most games, you're not finding both wonders or you're not finding 2 wonders before turn 30.
No, sometimes you just have a wonder and you settle it, and that's
you're probably
crown.
finding.
No,
one,
for
though.
sure. Okay, I agree with that. Glosson, never mind. You're right.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, you
Yeah.
find a wonder. You
No,
settle
no,
it,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
free
yeah,
religion.
yeah. You're right. It's not free Panth.
Yeah, it's not
It was-
free Panth.
it-
It is sometimes.
Dude, it was
free
barely free Panth when it was 50.
Okay, I mean, if it's not free Panth, it's kind of mid.
I mean, it's.
I mean,
still,
yes,
like-
that's why it's where it is. I don't think the Civs, the convict penitentiary is so overrated.
The
I
convict
mean, I'm gonna
penitentiary
play
doesn't do
it.
anything.
If
I
I
mean,
play the
but-
tournament.
I will. Yeah, I will play that Civ in a tournament. The medic worker is so fucking good. 3 movement worker is insane. You can step onto a chop and chop it.
No,
you can
no,
step onto
no
a hill
one-
and make a mine.
We all know what it does. Yes, like I know. I'm just
The
yeah.
building's like actually reasonable, guys. It's half a workshop and half a market.
That's fine.
Yeah, I build it.
That's not nothing.
It's not the best, but
I also
build
will
it.
say, in a tournament game, you have way more time to get through your build queues.
Isn't this Civ like? Never mind.
I mean, you just compare it to like the bonuses that other coastal civs get. and
I
you
don't know.
realize
Actually,
coastal
now that I
civs
think
get
about
insane
it,
bonuses.
the constabulary's got a
difference is-
big buff.
The difference is
Oh, and
like,
constabularies are so important now. That's true.
oh
Because
yeah,
you can't do any anti-stealing without a constabulary now.
Yeah.
oh, is that what? Okay, wait, is that true? You just-
Yeah.
Okay, I was wondering why my spy wasn't stopping anything.
Well,
Okay, I should read the patch notes.
no. I mean, the patch doesn't work. It's bugged right now, but it'll get fixed for tourney.
Yeah, I think it got fixed, didn't it?
No. Oh. Maybe. I
It-
don't know.
He did roll out a fix recently.
Okay, then it should be fixed. Beforehand, your spies weren't leveling, and it was just completely pointless. But yeah.
I think the best part of this list is how Armenia is an S tier. We did good
Yeah,
with that.
That is so nonsense.
It's not. It's
No,
actually
that's
really
actually
good.
a really good take, and it will age well.
Is Wales the best? I think we just can all agree Wales is probably the best.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought like me saying Wales is the best would be a hot take, and then I came in here and it was number 1.
I mean, Wales has an early bonus and an insane unique improvement and a war benefit.
Yeah,
and
no,
And a crossbow.
it makes the yields that matter in late game.
I mean obviously.
I think Wales was like the only civ where we were in 100% agreement.
No, I think we were.
Yep, this is best.
I think we were in there for Denmark.
Denmark
This is
on the
best.
new map seems so good.
It does.
Yeah. I mean, Denmark was the new map thing.
Yeah.
Without
I
the
mean,
new
even
map,
without the new map thing, I think people would still.
Yeah, it's still a good tournament civ because just disembarking and murdering someone
The ability like is insane.
for a tournament, yeah.
All right, cool. I'm pretty happy with this. I mean, this is not ordered well, but who cares?